In a world
Shut the hell up.
where Carolina Panthers fans
Anthony from Charlotte, keep motherfucking pounding.
have an insatiable thirst
I need to see a lot more of that shit going forward.
for Panthers news and opinions.
All my C3 brethren from the C3 Legion.
Only one podcast roars ferociously.
The longest running Panthers podcast on the internet.
It's the C3 Panthers Podcast.
Oh, Greg, I owe y'all $100, man.
Will the Panthers play their starters ever in this preseason, or will they wait till like week 7? Is Trevin Wallace the linebacker that Carolina Panther fans have yearned for so long, of the days of Luke Kuechly, Thomas Davis, John Beeson, Dan Morgan? Boy, he is looking good in that preseason game. And can Eddie Pinheiro get it together enough for Cody to not blow a gasket tonight? I don't know. You're listening to the C3 Panthers podcast, brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com, where every Tuesday night we chop up the latest Panthers news and opinions from the fan perspective. My name is Tony Dunn. Each and every week, I do it with my wheelman, Cody Lack. What's good, my brother?
Tony Dunn, as you know, there is nowhere I'd rather be on a Tuesday night than here with my boys talking Panther football, baby. We have a big time show today. We have seen Panther action. I have a feeling that me, Greg, and CK are getting ready to have an all-out war on whether or not there should ever be any starters in the preseason. And let me tell you, man, I'm starting to get very excited about Trevin Wallace. I was originally mad that we didn't draft Peyton Wilson, but dude, maybe we should just trust Dan Morgan, the former great Panthers linebacker, on all things relating to the Carolina Panthers linebacker positions. But Tony, you already know that we're going to do it with the best damn Panther fans in all of YouTube. You already know them and love them. It's your bastard son, White Chocolate Espresso, C3 the real AP, Matt Knows Nothing, Cardiac Cat 13, Kristen Butler, what's up, KG73s, Jeffrey Swan, Hemlock, Everything Digital, C3 Tater, Jade the Snake, what's up, brother, C3 Doug, the brand ambassador, D's Ill Skills, and Panther Pickle. Tony Dunn, ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
The number is 252-228-5098. That's 252-228-5098. Give us a call. Jump into the show. Let us know what your thoughts are on the Panthers preseason. Are the Panthers making a mistake and not putting their starters out at all so far, and maybe not at all? We'd like to get you part of the podcast. If you're a first-time listener, you best subscribe. Smash that thumbs up button. Big shout-out to my consigliere. My Aunt Anne-Marie is in the podcast right now. Don't mess with that woman. She a badass. That man, we need her on the damn Panthers right now because we need some badasses on this Panthers. CK, the voice that makes them moist. How you doing, my friend?
Man, I'm doing fine. It's becoming a little more concerning, the behaviors of this coaching staff, that Cody doesn't necessarily agree with my viewpoint here, but I'm happy to be here, man. We have our final preseason game coming up, and then the next step is going to be the season opener against the Saints. And so we're going to see a lot over the next few weeks. We're going to probably be discussing a lot of things over the next few weeks. We're going to, especially next week, maybe even tonight, be worthy of talking about who are cut candidates, because we have to deal with the final cut down after this week is up. And so I don't know if that's going to happen on Tuesday or what. So we have a lot of things to talk about, man, but couldn't ask for a better group of guys to be out here talking about the Carolina Panthers than you boys. So I'm glad to be here this evening, man.
Fun stuff. I want to shout out Jeffrey Swan, said longtime listener, big fan of the show, man. We really appreciate your support. I'm telling you guys, you can be a C3 super fan. He was asking Cody if you can't see the join button. Can you tell him what to do if you can't see the join button?
Yeah, so if you're on, for example, iPhone, open up YouTube in a different browser. So not in your normal internet browser, like go to Google Chrome and then go to our YouTube video, and you should be able to see the join button. I know iPhones was tending to not show the join button on the app. If you have an Android, you should see it. But yeah, open up a Google Chrome in Safari, or go in Google Chrome.
Yeah, you got to take out like the little mobile tag.
Yeah, take out the little mobile
tag. It's Apple fighting with Google. That's what it is.
Yeah,
It's an Apple fighting with Google thing. Shout out to KJ73, is my brother from another mother. Friend, lifelong friend right there. And Greg, looking swole, looking good. The beard is fresh. It's going to be to your knees by the time we get to the playoffs.
Right. Yeah, I didn't expect us to not be this good for this long when I said that I was going to grow it out till we made the playoffs. But
It's so damn hot outside.
that kind of came back again. But everybody seems to like it. You know, I got the products in and everything. Hey, you know what? We scored a touchdown this week, y'all. I mean, if there's something to be happy about, we scored a touchdown this week. You know, how important it was is up to be argued about. But, man, I don't know what's going on with the Panthers right now. I'm just ready for real football, for the real football season, so we can stop arguing about.
Amen.
So,
CK, get on them pipes and welcome my man in.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, we have a brand new member of the C3 Superfan Club. Jeffrey Swan found his way to the correct browser on iPhone and was able to hit join. He hit that join button for $1.99. He became a super fan of the C3 podcast. Thank you so much for the support. Welcome to the squad.
Yeah.
Man, you can't do it better than that. That's why they call him the voice that makes a voice. Cody, let's jump into this show. The Carolina Panthers had their preseason game last week against the Jets, and we did not see the starters. Kind of some controversy with that, and now the Panthers head to – it was really an opportune time. They're at home in front of their own fans. No starters. They've been dealing with some injuries. Now today the Bills announced that they will not be playing their starters Saturday against the Panthers. Will the Carolina Panthers play their starters? Dave Canales had some things to say about it. Cody, tell us what's happening here.
Yeah, so this has been the biggest debate in all of preseason football for the Panthers is should we see our starters? We now know that the Buffalo Bills are not going to be playing their starters, as you mentioned. Dave Canales was asked about this earlier today, and he seems to think that the Panthers are indeed ready, even though we didn't fully commit to saying that we will indeed see them.
To really establish you guys are ready to play, and they look great today. They handled a significant volume that we threw at them today, getting them back out there quickly with both groups, the ones and the twos, to just keep working that volume. So I was really excited about their response. I mean, I couldn't ask for a better group of guys. The things that I challenged them with in our team meetings in the morning, they respond. It's just like, for me, it's like coming into a new team. I don't know what to expect. Am I going to have to really push guys to get the intensity and the style that we're looking for? But this is a group that already knows how to work. But then now we're just talking about the style of how we work, and they've been great that way.
So he makes it sound like they're ready to go out there and perform. Like I said, he sort of stopped short of saying for sure that we were indeed going to be playing the starters this preseason. Now, I wanted to show Dan Morgan and what he had to say about this, because he was interviewed about this, and he basically said that since we're number one in line for upcoming roster cuts, we need this time to evaluate our backups a lot more, since we have the pick of the litter on which cuts need to pick up and strengthen our second unit. So Dan Morgan, like myself, is a fan of not playing these starters. Now, I mean, I just figured that we should open up the conversation because this has been such a big point of debate. For those of you who don't know, the four of us, we have our own private chat when building the show, and we've been going back and forth on whether or not this is or isn't a good idea that the Panthers starters not have any preseason playing time. I'll let either Greg or CK go first on this one, because I think I've made my stance pretty clear in that I never want to see them ever play a snap of meaningless football when nothing is on the line, and against backups who are doing everything in their power to earn a roster spot. Sorry, I don't necessarily trust the Buffalo backups with the health of our starters. I would just prefer to not, but I know the boys think differently.
I'll go real quick because I'm still as I mentioned last week, I said the first week, not a concern. Second week, you start to get a little bit worried, right? Third week, now I'm starting to say, I don't even see the point in starting if you're not going to be going against the Bill starters. But at the same time, the approach that I have, I'm disappointed that we didn't see our starters this past week. And my reasoning behind it is you may argue that we're not going to see value, one drive, just one single drive is all I would at least have asked for to see Bryce out there. And it's not because I need to see Bryce flash. It's not because of any of that. It's that we're dealing with a brand new organization as a whole for the most part. We have brand new offensive line. We have a brand new wide receivers. We have a brand new head coach who's calling the plays. We need to be able to see they need to get practice in a game-like environment. And you can't do that in a joint practice with the Jets. Does not matter. It has zero to do with me seeing Bryce perform well. If he went out there and he didn't perform well, I could care less. It's literally just preseason. They're not showing their cards, whatever, right? It's a lose-lose if he does perform bad. Nobody's going to look at it and say, oh, great. But if he does come out here and he play against the Bills, everybody's going to make the excuse for Bryce or make the jump. You say, oh, he's only doing it against backups, right? So that's the part of it that's going to be a lose-lose for him, is that if he comes out and does well, nobody's going to give him his flowers. But if he comes out and does poorly, he's screwed. Right. So I do get it from that perspective. But I just think when you're dealing with a team that's 2-15, coming off of the worst season that many of us can, recall having in the past 10 years of any of our sports teams, it's nobody. They need to get those reps, because I don't want there to be an excuse come the beginning of the season when we face the Saints and we start out slow and all of a sudden people are saying the Panthers they didn't play any of their starters in preseason. They're just getting warmed up. I don't want to be able to say that excuse right out of the gate. I want to see these guys come out firing on all cylinders, and I don't think joint practice is going to make that happen.
Yeah, can I just to add on to that, reps is what we need. I could understand if you were a quarterback who has established yourself. Like, I don't honestly see why Patrick Mahomes is playing as much as he is, but he would be a guy who doesn't need to have any reps during the preseason. If he doesn't have any reps in the preseason, I don't care about that. Bryce needs reps in a real game, even if, like CK said, it's only one drive. And Cody, to your point, if they are playing against backups and you're worried about him getting injured against backups, what do you think is going to happen against starters?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, the starters are going to play better than the backups do. That's why they're starters. I would be more afraid of him playing against, not just Bryce, of our starters playing against other starters than I would against them playing against backups.
But there's also this unsaid thing, though, this a rule amongst starters, amongst guys that are the top brass of their team. There is an air of, hey, I'm going to be careful with you. You're going to be careful with me, because we know that this is preseason football. There is nothing on the line for any of those starters. There is no amount of preparation that's going to be more than, in my opinion, what the joint practices held this past week when the Panthers played the Jets. To me, if you're going to say that this is preventing the Panthers from starting the season on full bore, to me, that's just an excuse for bad coaching. And by the way, the past 2 days in a row, the Panthers have had great training camp practices. I know Tony doesn't think much of any of that. I can hear him rolling his eyes. But there has been nothing but good coming from all the beat reporters. I just think it's so much of a cop-out to say that the Panthers cannot start the season at full force if they don't play any snaps in preseason football, especially when you have Dave Canales at the podium saying this team looks better prepared.
Oh my gosh!
Than they have at any point.
What does the bad practice look like, Cody?
What else is he going to say?
Yeah, what does the bad practice look like? Is the coach going to say that?
He goes, "Oh, we had a great practice today. Great energy. Everything has been great so far, Cody. Everything is even Harris Marshall Jr. has been great.
What is being proven to you? If you go out there and see the Panthers starters run down the field against their backups for 2 series,
it's not proving. It's not proving anything. We don't need it to prove. We need those guys to get out there and knock some rust off.
Yeah, I mean, and here's the thing, Cody. You're let's talk about this. You are an avid, like, you're like, hey, listen, Bryce Young does not get any, leash whatsoever.
But
What do you
none of
think
my
is
starters.
Right.
None of my starters are getting any
No,
preseason snaps.
no? What I'm saying is, if Bryce comes out and he's not a good quarterback week 1, you're not going to give him any grace whatsoever.
Stop it.
Yeah.
I'm not judging
Hold on.
Bryce Young to the first 5 games.
No, but
Oh
if
my
you-
God! Yes, we
you-
are.
you
We're
know-
judging Bryce Young after the first pass.
Yeah, but Tony, what if I always said that the first 6 weeks of the season, they don't show you who the real contenders are. I don't mind.
That's
if
fine.
you
That's not
start-
where we're not a
if you
contender,
start
bro.
the
Don't
first
worry.
2 weeks a little bit slow. That has nothing to do with preseason
No,
football.
all right.
Look,
Okay, let me ask you this. Let me
Other
ask
than
one
lack
question.
of preparedness.
Let me ask one question. Why is it that from what I can see, no other team is doing this?
right.
We're the only
No,
team.
what do you mean?
Us and the
Except
Jets
for
are
the
the only
Jets.
team
A
that
bunch of teams have played this. A few teams have not played.
What
I
team-
see. I feel like every time I've looked at preseason highlights for because I'll go on YouTube and watch the highlights for games instead of watching them. Every time I feel like there's one series or something where you're seeing guys out there. Right. Now, the second thing is that we have seen teams in the past do this, which I actually have been a proponent in the past of either not playing them at all or playing them for one game only. Like, I like the one game only. You say we're going to play a quarter. We're going to play. I like a quarter.
Yeah.
Like, go get a full quarter. You get a couple, unless you march it down and score a touchdown, and you get out of there.
And Cody, if they had played him a quarter last week, I wouldn't care if he didn't play this upcoming week.
Why?
Did not
Week
care
2
one
is the
bit.
week to
Why?
play.
For what?
Week 2 is the
What?
week to play. Number
I don't
one,
know.
you're at
Cody.
home. You're at home for the fans. It's like, look, that's the crowd to do it against, right? You're going before the point where you're getting at the end. Like, then you can use the last game for what Dan Morgan is talking about, right? Is you just go get some dirt on your jersey a little.
Look.
Now, there's a couple of things to put out here. First is that if you go back and we look, and we probably need strats. We need to pay strats to do this, is to go do like a data analysis on teams who have not played at all in the preseason. And just every time I've seen us not play a lot in the preseason, I always feel like the first quarter or the first half of game 1 is the preseason.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, they look nervous. They look, it looks like they're working together. So that's one thing to think about is like, is it a week 1? Are you going to have a slow start maybe, or a slower start? The other thing is, now to your point, Cody, about not playing the starters, probably the best thing I heard was Dave Canales today in his presser, in a way talking about if we can't play all of our starters, maybe it's not worth it. Right. So if you're going to go out there and you're going to play 3 out of 5 offensive linemen as starters, but then you're going to put 2 twos in there with them, and then you can't play the starting group, are you really getting the continuity, developing that chemistry and reps? I might be able to handle that. That answer might be the most satisfying to me that I've heard so far. I also just think that, like, out of all, you've told us we're in a prove it year.
Yes.
Like,
and
I know, I
nothing
like,
is
man, you know what? I don't feel
being
sorry for these guys. I'm like, get out there and
but-
play a
but
rep.
No, but this is what I'm saying. It's a prove it year. And there's nothing to prove in the preseason at all. There's
It's not
just
about proving.
literally-
It's about getting better as a team.
But there is, because you're saying that it
Then they
proves
shouldn't practice
No,
their starters
no.
because they could get
What
hurt.
you are saying is that during the preseason, it is like somehow proven that if you play, you are less rusty for week 1 and you are more prepared. Well, I'm saying correlation does not equal causation.
That works.
and
Both,
number-
that
and
works
number-
both ways.
Okay,
Hey,
but
you-
number 2, another thing that I know is Roger Goodell has gone on record saying that in a couple of years, there are not going to be any preseason football games. They're getting rid of preseason football games in order to add more regular season games. So eventually, it's going to be everyone's new normal that your starters are not going to have any leeway to play any sort of real meaningful football snaps before the season starts.
But that's a different
It's going
scenario
away
entirely.
anyway.
That's a different scenario entirely, because that's still, like, those first 3 games are going to be the equivalent of a preseason game in many cases. I think here's the thing is,
I disagree.
I think if you look at the teams that have been in this, let's forget about won the Super Bowl. Let's talk about, just so we can have a bigger net. I can tell you with probably about a 95% certainty that any team that has made it to the Super Bowl has had their starters play in preseason.
Look at the Ravens. They're a contender every year. They take the preseason seriously.
The Rams in 2020 who won the Super Bowl.
One exception doesn't make the rule,
without
Cody.
ever. I mean,
one
no,
exception doesn't make the rule.
They also won 2 years before, and the Rams never played their starters in preseason football. It's an utter
That's still
myth.
the same teams. One exception doesn't make the rule.
By the way, in all of college football, there is no preseason games. And by the way, Clemson is getting ready to open their season at
but
Georgia.
you know who they open again? Oh, well, that's the first. That's an anomaly.
Georgia.
Usually, you guys play some babies that you beat up on in week one.
The whole point is that you're jumping into your season without any
against Western Carolina.
Real quick,
Georgia, son.
College teams have 100-man rosters, not 53-man rosters. Okay, so there's a big difference in not having a preseason there because you got a way bigger pool to pull from.
You can play a team each week in practice.
I want to go back to your correlate thing, which you were talking about how playing players in the preseason or whatever you were talking about correlating. You know what else doesn't correlate? If you don't play them in the preseason, they're not going to get injured in the practice or week one. That doesn't correlate either. So it's trying to save them from doing this is not going to mean they're not going to get injured walking out of the stadium tomorrow.
Fine.
Injuries can happen anytime. I mean, that's
still rather not chance that, considering how our luck has been.
How about this
position? Imagine how terrible this fan base would feel if the same thing that happened to Cam Newton happened to Bryce or any other main starter for that matter. It would be terrible. We're already facing the bottom of every power rankings, as we'll talk about later. Then to lose a key starter in a game that means nothing, that would hurt my soul too hard.
Cody, you said that the first 6 weeks or 5 or 6 weeks mean nothing to you because you don't know the contenders in the first 5 to 6 weeks.
They're like a mirage. Yes.
I can agree with you with that, but you know what you can find out in the first 5 to 6 weeks? Who the losers are. If you start 1-5 or 0-6, your season's basically done.
Because
I don't care. You may come out of that, but your season's basically done.
But you see how we're making all of these leaps and bounds?
No, we're not making
leaps.
You tell me an 0-6 team that's made the playoffs.
No, you're not.
But tell me 0-6 team.
Yeah, no, I don't think there is ever been an 0-6 team that's made the playoffs.
But what you're saying is that we can come out so flat that we could show ourselves to be one of the losers. What in the first
5 weeks? If you start 1-4, you're if this team starts 1-4, what do you think this podcast is going to be like?
I didn't say the first week or two. You said the first 6 weeks.
If we start 1-4, it will have nothing to do with the amount of snaps our starters played in preseason.
Okay, all right. Look, is that ultimately, as we'll find out. We won't find out. I think where Cody, where I'm kind of with CK on this, it's not about proving something. It's not proving to the fans. It's not proving to the coaching staff. It's just getting better, right? Getting better as a team, getting better as calling the plays, getting in and out of the huddle at games.
That's not even the real playbook.
So
it's not even the real playbook.
Right. It's not about the playbook, though. Here's again. It's about getting the reps in with the people that are on your team. It's about understanding communication with your brand new head coach that's never done it before and has only called plays one other season
in an unscripted manner. In
an unscripted manner, right? And so everything else has been so like there isn't a play clock when you're in practice doing that joint stuff. Like they might try to simulate that, but there is no accurate ability to be able to say, hey, listen, there's a time clock over there you got to pay attention to. While you're listening to me take calls, you've got to be able to discuss this with the people on your team, call that play out, and we've got to be able to run that. It doesn't have to be anything special
either.
But one series, that's all I would have liked to see is one series.
I want a quarter. I'm either a quarter or no play. A quarter or zero.
This is what I was about to ask. If you're so insistent upon some action for the starters in preseason, then how much are you talking? Like
one series.
I want one quarter.
No, hold on, brother. Okay. All those things that you just said that the Panthers have to get on track, play calling, all this other stuff, they're going to make some meaningful advancement and all of that in one series.
They're going to at least know where they need to work. They're going to at least
see where the mistakes are. If you had to go do a TED talk right? If you had to go do a TED talk, it's kind of like getting up there and running through the equipment and like making sure the mics work right and things like that.
Yeah, and we also
It's a
had
rehearsal a little. And I don't think I think this, if you're so worried, not if they're so worried about the problems that this could happen in the preseason games, how could they really be practicing anywhere in the capacity of that realm if they're not? Wouldn't they be worried about practice then too?
Mm-hmm.
No,
You can't be like, oh, we had the toughest joint practice with the Jets, but then we're like, we're scared to play our starters because they're hurt.
Scared for you're literally mitigating the damage that you could take playing a football game. That doesn't mean anything.
Okay.
Again,
Okay.
So mitigating the experience.
Listen, I'm just saying, CK
Right.
said one series. Well, in my
I
mind,
want a
that
quarter.
That one series isn't going to be the difference between a win and a loss against the Saints. And before I pass the mic, I would also like to
No, we
reflect
got to move on
that
to a
the
new topic. We're done
starters
with this.
Hold on. The poll in the chat is pretty much as torn as we are. Should the starters?
Because there's no
play or not
answer to this
play?
question. There's no real answer.
47% yes and 53% no. So more people are on my side.
Oh, gosh. Oh,
I'm
well.
just saying.
It just changed.
You're-
to 50. It's been 50-50 the last 9 minutes.
Yeah, and he just got his mom voting in the background.
Whatever,
Right.
dude. Hey,
He's got
my
his girlfriend voting. He's
my
texting people in the
team is
background
winning.
asking to
I'm
win
stopping
this
that
poll.
poll. How about that?
I don't
Yeah.
want to ever see the starters in preseason football.
All right.
That's disgusting.
Okay. Well, all right, I said I want to move on. I think this is that if a
Dude, we got
team
time, man. Let's do
No,
it.
we don't. We need to keep. I want to keep the show moving, not get bogged down as much as I do think. I think CK or Greg said it earlier. Is that this isn't a team that's got a head coach that's been a head coach for 10 years, who's got a quarterback that's like been with the organization for so long,
or a team that's full of veterans that that are going to come out here and be able to perform at a high level.
Yeah, and let's we didn't hit the super chat. This is a while back. This
All
is
right, so this is
my
your
bastard son, your arch, or as the kids say, my kids say, your op.
Yeah, that's the op right there. That's a game.
I hate that. It's like, all right.
The op. He's right. He played. We played most of our backups. We saw our backup O line sucked. Went out and got Jack Anderson killed.
Whoever Jack Anderson.
Yeah, I guess that's the
and
quarterback that we ended
Jake
up.
Plummer. Or we got a new
No, Lutton was the one
Jake
who got
Lutton.
hurt. But what is he? He's saying Jack Anderson, and he killed it. I'm confused what he means. Did somebody kill it? Like as far as like did a good job in the game?
All right, so look at this. We got a new super chat coming up. Thank you, man. You know what? Let's do this. If we can get 10 super chats tonight, we'll make CK do a special voice thing. So we're at 2 right now.
We can do that on YouTube now. We can set goals that people.
I got
can
an email
see.
about it, and I haven't had time to look at it.
Yeah, we can set that where people can see that as a goal.
Well, why aren't we doing that? Can we do it mid-show?
I don't know.
I don't know. All right. Well, we're 8 super chats away right now. Nervosh, $5 C3 bomb said Cody is traumatized from Cam's preseason foot.
Yes,
Yeah.
and you should be too. How about that? Yeah.
But you know the funny thing about
Jack
that?
Anderson was an offensive guard and was nice in the game.
That was a non-contact injury, by the way. That wasn't like he was getting stepped on or anything.
But
like
if
that.
he was sitting on the sideline, CK, he wouldn't have had a non-contact
Right,
injury.
He could have been
had
walking
that
on the
happen in
sidelines and had the
practice.
same injury. He could have been walking on the sidelines and had the same injury.
I also do think that it does bear repeating what Dan Morgan said. Us being the top of the waiver chart, like we're gonna have to make some very important decisions on guys that might be able to come back here, even after we cut them if they're able to clear waivers and stuff. So, hey man, this is important for us. I like the opportunity to test our depth and know what we have behind our starters because we're gonna need those guys at some point during the season, man. Like it or not, it's what it is.
It's very
All
important
right.
to know how the guys who are playing 10% of the game, how well they play.
Damn
It's very
straight.
important.
Very important. All right, moving on to some roster moves. The Panthers added some secondary depth on Monday after suffering a series of injuries last week. We signed cornerbacks Chris Wilcox and Quandre Mosley after a workout on Monday. Corner became a position of need last week when Dave Canales said the starter Dane Jackson would miss 6 weeks or ish with a hamstring and with Lamar Jackson and Anthony Brown left Saturday night's game against the Jets with injuries and did not return. People were disappointed by this because Lamar Jackson, he's been good for us. Okay, said that he's been one of the better players in practice thus far, and I know that
well, we got like the Panthers putting out things after the games, like the secondary looking good, things like this, and then you get Dane Jackson getting hurt, now releasing Lamar Jackson. At least this, I will say, the best thing about this to me is every time I saw Jackson on the field, I didn't know who the hell it was. I was like, I got to learn these, it's like, is it Dane? Is it Lamar? Is it, all of these things here. But then they had to go and pick up some other ones. It's kind of interesting. I saw KG73, sorry, Kev. Call him up with Kev. You're on fire, Tony. He's talking about, hey, like, look, his defense is looking nice. In fact, actually, that's what my comment about the Jets game and the slowness of it was that the defense was putting in some work. And we've had my White Chocolate Espresso talking about this defense could be better than we potentially gave it credit for and improving. So we're just going to have to figure out how this secondary can not only weather some of these injuries. Xavier Woods still dealing with, I think, a groin injury or something like that. Like, how do you deal with these injuries with also players you don't even really know that well?
That's a good point. Dane Jackson was, listen, that guy was our
You mean your
starter.
most hated? Like, you should be happier than anything about this crap.
No, I didn't hate him. I hated the fact that I didn't know who the hell dude was. And now he was playing okay. Kev was telling me, hey, this dude's a guy. And then now, we're scraping the bottom of the barrel. Another thing that
you were saying we were scraping the bottom of the barrel with.
I know.
Wasn't he just going on and on about how the hell are we going to do Dane Jackson? How the hell are we going to get this done? We need to get
and
Stephon
now we
Gilmore.
don't even have him. And that's the other thing I forgot to put in the show tonight. Stephon Gilmore said no to the Carolina Panthers and yes to the Minnesota Vikings.
All right,
So
look, we are now down to what do we got? 8, 6, 7. We need 6 more super chats. Let's hit these super chats up, and then as you hit them up, I gotta ask. Just don't care one thing.
All right, man. Vegas Panthers. Drew, our boy Drew, what's up? He says, can't enjoy watching Trevin Wallace because how pathetic our offense looked throughout the preseason. With the $5 C3 bond. Hey, that's not, you're not wrong, but I think we're trending up. And just don't care. It says, Tony, we want the new member badges, my man.
Can we remind me, other than the chaos that has become my life lately, you got to forgive me. My life is in like the chaos that the Panthers were in last year, right?
Uh-huh.
What are some suggestions? Can you guys give me some suggestions in the chat for new member badges that we need to add? Because I need to add them, and I will. Thank you very much.
I think we've got a drone.
Oh, a drone badge. Very good. I'm gonna write this down. I think we might have a Band-Aid. I don't know. Drone badge. We probably need I think we should have a Ted Lasso badge.
Oh, yeah.
Ted Lasso badge.
What about
Tony's face? Tony's face. Gosh, I must be beautiful.
What about a dog? Because Dan Morgan's been out here looking for dogs.
Maybe a Georgia Bulldog to beat your Clemson Tiger.
Ah, man, fuck.
Yo. All right. All right. Yeah, well, I'll keep an eye on this. Oh, a monster sub tomato emoji.
There you go.
Done.
Yeah.
Incredible. Monster sub tomato emoji. Amazing. A Legion badge.
Oh, yeah. We're going to have to get Diz on there. He's got all those.
You have to make them so tiny.
I know, but man, we have
like this.
cool ones though, man.
Yeah. Oh, Colby, we need to get together, and we're getting together and watch some games this year, and then you're gonna come get on the sticks with me in the podcast room as we do these post games. All right, what we got next here?
Yeah, man. So some addendums from today from Mike K. Running back Dylan Johnson, cornerback Lamar Jackson, and wide receiver Tavion Robinson all passed through waivers unclaimed. Since Robinson and Jackson had injury designations, they revert to Carolina's IR list. Johnson is now a free agent. Dylan Johnson didn't he
Wasn't he from Washington?
Touchdown? Was that the guy that got our only touchdown?
Think so. Maybe a Washington Husky.
Yeah, he was the last play of the game. Yeah, he got that touchdown on the last play of the game.
Colby says dog tags for. I like that. I like that. Oh yeah,
nice one.
With a little C and a 3 on it.
Oh, that would be dope.
Right, so what we got here? All right, all right.
All right, man. We have a reason to really be excited, boys, and that's why we're talking about Trevin Wallace. Trevin Wallace has been absolutely dynamic in practice. He was dynamic in the game against the Jets. I'll play some of his stats and some clips here in a moment. Boys, my question to you is, especially after he had a good day today where he picked off Andy Dalton, do we think that Dan Morgan finally nailed and cemented a draft pick at linebacker? Could Trevin Wallace be that Panthers linebacker of the future? It's very early.
I've been saying this. When we drafted this guy and we did the shows, I wanted that guy. We were talking. I was like, I was hype about the NC State guy because he was training with Luke. And then they picked this fella from Kentucky, and people were like, oh, they were going stuff. Like people were kind of going nuts. I mean, everybody. That's why I hate the draft and the draft projections. People are upset all the time. But we knew that Dan Morgan knows this position. We know he can see the traits and the type of player that it translates to, right? He is, I mean, yes, this is the guy. This is the type of player that sideline to sideline speed, right? This is the type of player you hit in the draft. We talked about is not, I always get them confused, but there are linebackers that come out of the third and that all of a sudden are like top linebackers in the league 2 years later. Yeah. So I don't know. I know I wanted the guy that was training with Luke Kuechly, but I told you guys from the beginning the reason I wanted it because of Luke Kuechly thing. But as soon as Dan Morgan goes and picks a linebacker, I was like, I feel good.
Yeah, but listen, the dude is absolutely flying around on the field, man.
Are we down to 4 super chats now? I think that might have been 5. We need 4 more. Let's hit these up real quick because 4 more, and then we're going to make CK do something, I guess. Moisty.
All right.
Moisty.
Thankful.
Vegas Panthers Juice as a Muggsy Bogues badge for Bryce. Okay.
Or
I like that.
Muggsy. All right, I like that. Nick Gaskins with the $2 C3 bomb says, "Bye, Shaq." So man, everyone's been trying to replace Shaq for so long. Well, he's been one of the more devout Panthers, man. Like this dude.
He's a guy that definitely does not watch this show because I just
no. But by the way, just for clarification, in the preseason game against the Jets, he had 5 total tackles, 2 solo tackles, 2 key tackles on third downs, forcing punts, was all over the field, clearly in demand. People are saying that we might have a special player on our hands. And you see with the film, I mean, my man is flying around the football field. We have some of the all 22 up, courtesy of John Ellis on Twitter. And man, dude, I love the number 56. It just fits perfect. That's a real throwback inside linebacker number to me. And the dude is showing sideline to sideline ability. And I love that. I also wanted to draft the Peyton Wilson guy. But in the back of our mind, too, we also know that this is Dan Morgan's position. Let that guy scout, evaluate the position. And as of right now, we appear to be doing pretty damn good.
Yeah, it's 100% yes in the chat if he's our future linebacker on the poll. So,
Of course, we need this. We needed this in our life, and I think it's Colby and look, speak of the devil, Colby, who just hit us up with another super chat.
Oh shit!
Thank you for the C3 bomb, $1.99. 3 more to go. And how about this? Instead of putting CK on the spot, 3 more to go. We'll do this. Give us a chat. Give us a question you want us to answer, like a historic nostalgia question about the Panthers. Maybe it is, I don't know. Give us an idea of what we can do at this, or we'll just look. We better get it quick because they're coming in right here.
Man, thank you.
But Colby
Marcelo.
saying this.
Yeah,
we need to get back to a team that has this linebacker kind of tenacity.
Yes.
And I always said this with Cam. And I started back in the classroom, Cody. Put my face up so I can see myself. I look like I'm getting covered up by Jorge Masson.
That's a narcissist, man.
Or I just need to know I'm part of the team. Right? Instead of being covered up.
True that.
I started class back, and it's like my little church in there. And at some point, I always talk about Cam Newton throughout the semester. And I'm like, bro, I'm like, it might be like the greatest, and I was being sarcastic, and I was like the greatest quarterback in the history of the world, Cam Newton. And I'm like, so
that's a Cam sexual, dude.
Oh, totally. Look, I'm wearing the Cam shirt right now. The thing about Cam that made me so defensive for him, like I was like his mama bear, was that I knew that when you didn't have a Cam, you would be looking for a Cam. Right? It's like you don't know what love is until love is lost. And Colby has been talking about this with linebackers. And for the Panther fans, we had a run where we didn't know what it was like to have mediocre linebackers. I was just accustomed to having the doggest dogs of dogs at linebacker for so long. It'd be like, oh, wait a minute. Thomas Davis, 10 years later, is the best linebacker, the second best linebacker in the league, like just crushing mugs. Look, Panther gets time to move on. Long lost love. Love you, Cam. All right, but that's how I felt like with the linebackers is we got so accustomed to it, and we've gone through a stretch of just I almost can this might be the challenge. Oh, this is what we're gonna do if we get 2 more. We got 2 more super chats, CK?
Somewhere in that ballpark.
I think it's 2 more. We're gonna go around and we're gonna try to list the linebackers for the last 5 years on this team.
Oh God, that would be fun.
I don't think I can. I don't know. Oh gosh. All right. Look, we're doing that. Oh, and give us some likes. That's free. That's C-Dog remembered. All right. What do we got next? You want to take some calls?
Well, hang on. Before we move on, I wanted to show, since we're talking about him,
and Trevin,
show some of what the Panthers liked about this guy. Through the draft process, and then we have one more highlight of him picking off. I believe it was Andy Dalton too. So this is them talking about Trevin Wallace before we drafted him.
Who? Yes. They want to give us 134. We give them 200.
If I can get it.
Jets would do 157.
He shouldn't even be in the room, man.
So you're getting a better third. Hey, we'll do it.
Carolina has traded in 6. The New York Jets are now on the clock.
All we do is trade.
That's what we do. A lot of DBs went off the board, if I can recall. We like some of those guys. So I think when, they started coming off the board, you quickly have to, change your strategy and adapt and adjust. And, that's a big part of my job.
I think one of them's going to be there.
I do too. Wallace better not get picked here.
He wants him.
Played linebacker, and Dan saw a lot of positive qualities in Trevin that made the pick pretty easy for us.
The size, the length, the speed, the range that he plays with, I think was all really appealing to us.
Trevin, what's up, man? It's Dan Morgan with the Carolina Panthers. How you doing? Defense is a big deal for Carolina. Trying to beat things up. Shaq Thompson's been there a long time. Trevin Wallace gets to move in behind him and learn how to play.
All pro linebacker.
All pro linebacker.
You got my favorite linebacker. Yeah. He was a heck of a player. So when you can kind of get that co-signed by an all pro linebacker, one of the better linebackers, in the history of the NFL, it definitely makes you feel even better about the pick.
All right. Before we get it first, I love that. Look, he saw something, they talked about it, but the chat, who was it? We got to go back up. Vegas Panthers Drew said that dude is Delome's long lost son. And then look, this was a running joke on the podcast for a minute when he got on. Whoever, I forget his name. What's his name again? The guy that the guy that we got from the Chiefs. Who's our salary cap dude?
Forehead guy.
All right, but here is
tell us.
All right, so here, pull up Vega. Leave this. All right, now after this comment, we're gonna jump to the real AP's comment. All right, that dude is Delome's lost son. So Panther fans, think of. Can we pull it back up real quick?
Wait, what the?
Brant Tillis. Maybe I can I'll just find this picture. How about that? This is one of my favorite bits on the podcast, Brant Tillis. So think of this. They're all on it, right? God, I can't stop laughing to pull it up. God, if I can't find a good picture.
I have
the best picture.
I'm pretty sure.
Hold on. It's the love. And yeah, let's see if this. Oh, it doesn't come up. How has this not come up in a Google search? All right, so here's the thing. Now we go Vegas Panthers Drew. That dude is Delome's long lost son, right? And I'll pull up here as I'll just share my screen right here. And I'm sorry, you won't be able to see him as big as you would like. Let's see. All right, now pull up the real APs. Hey, there was Mr. Cerebral, I think you went with. Brant Tillis is if Jake Delhomme and Peyton Manning had a baby.
Yeah, here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
This is the best.
Yeah, there we go. We did that to 5 head, man.
We used to have it where we could put Peyton Manning. Remember we had the one thumbnail where I had Peyton Manning and Jake Delhomme behind him? Oh, God, I love that. Oh, it's Jake Delhomme and Peyton Manning. And Kristen Butler. Oh, she's been with us. She's been saying this. I remember this. She said he still looks like my cousin Rocco. Oh, I love this.
Man,
all right.
we need those big brains right now, man. That guy, that guy is helping us get out.
You got a huge head. You must have a huge pillow.
Oh, you have to. But yeah, you want to take some cat calls?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, man. Set it up for me.
All right. Hi, you're listening to the longest running Panthers podcast, and we want to hear your takes. The number's 252-228-5098. Tell us if the Carolina Panthers are making a mistake by not starting their starters. What do you think about Trevin Wallace and taking over this new history or the next mantle of when it comes to taking the baton from one linebacker to another? Get your calls in. The number's 252-228-5098.
So what are your thoughts on catcalling?
Yeah, it's pretty. You shouldn't do that to somebody.
And how did that make you feel?
Very uncomfortable.
So how do you think catcalling makes the person feel?
It feels good, like.
Who's that cat sitting in the back corner with his face buried in his nose? Who's that kid that can use one?
Dude, I love the chat. All right, here we go. Oh, there we go. Fat thumbs. Let's see. Tell me you can hear it.
Hey, fellas, this is first time calling in. This is THS Samsonaire.
Thank you, brother.
I have not been so heated as to find out an hour before this game that Bryce Young and the rest of the starters would not be
This is
playing.
before the
I guess they
Jets
showed
game.
themselves to be Super Bowl contenders in that practice. I guess they showed themselves to be world beaters, absolutely glorious in that practice where they actually didn't have a real game environment. I guess with all of the hype that has been
like this
given by
guy.
so many different factions of the Carolina Panthers fandom, that Bryce Young and the 20th ranked offensive coordinator last year, Dave Canales, has decided that this team does not need to show the fans anything. And they need to remove all doubt away from how great they are by not playing the people that we need to see. So I'm wondering, when exactly are we Carolina Panther fans going to wake up and see that this team is playing in our face? Not only are they playing in our face, but they are actually pointing at us while they flick boogers at us and saying, nah, 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 boo, boo, we're not showing you anything. Pay us money, watch us, take time out of your schedule to see us do absolutely nothing. So my question, well, whether or not my challenge to the Carolina Panthers fans are, how long are we going to put up with this nonsense? Every other team in the league
Cody
seems
loves
to
it.
understand that you don't pee on your fans' respect. You don't pee on your fans' devotion. You don't do that. You actually care about your fans. But from the top down, from David Tepper on down, we got a whole bunch of people who don't know football but think they're smarter than everybody else that does. That's all I got to say. I appreciate you taking the time. Take it
Give him the applause. There you go.
First caller, first time caller,
Yeah.
first call coming hot out the gate. Nana Nana Boo Boo flicking boogers on you, Cody.
I mean, hey, I understand people feel very passionately about this, but all of that against Dan, all of that against
Last
this
week
team,
was the week to play him.
all of that.
He named everybody but you,
because
Cody.
We didn't see
Call
preseason.
back.
He named everybody but you.
Look at all of that because we didn't play some preseason football. It's just a little wild to me. Listen, I respect you for going to this stuff, but at the same time, man, if you went, you had a preseason ticket. You shouldn't expect anything from a preseason game, man. I know y'all want to see the starters. That is what week 1 is for. I don't know how else to say it, man. I don't believe it's worth it. And listen, I'll go the other way because CK and Greg were saying, you know, Dave Canales doesn't have any prior experience. So thereby it was important for him to do this. Well, I applaud him for being a first-time head coach who's willing to stand on his laurels and do what he believes is right, even if it isn't the most popular idea amongst Panther fans. I applaud him for that. I think it takes spine to be able to do that.
Oh,
and
gosh.
I think that we're on the right track.
All right. Big shout out to, all right. So we're one super chat away from having this this panel right here go. And what the challenge I'm going to give to us is from 2020 to 2023. Right. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 years for us to name one linebacker that started on this team that wasn't named Shaq Thompson. All right.
Okay.
And we're gonna go around and you don't cheat, folks. We're one super chat away from forcing us to try to figure out who the heck this linebacking bum squad has been other than Shaq Thompson.
And by the way, I
look
love
at
this.
Oh no, the
got
super. Did we count the super sticker? I feel like we have to.
Yeah, because they paid for it.
Yeah, we got to.
Panther Theory with a 99-cent C3 super sticker. I didn't need to highlight this comment though. From Kev. He's like, it's like going to a Laker game in season and expecting to see LeBron.
I thought the chat has been on fire about the Brant Tillis thing. Is what somebody said. He needs 3 My Pillows. And then someone said he needed an inflatable mattress as a pillow. Bill Craven said this and said it's not a pillow. He sleeps on an inflatable mattress under that dome. He has to take a body pillow. It's like a full body pillow, then turn it vertically. All right. We'll do one more call and then get ready because we hit 10 super chats. 10 super chats. Man, that's pretty awesome. Man, we might need to do this in the future. It's like we'll do something like this. But we're gonna try to name a linebacker who was not, and you can't, no outside linebackers. We're talking straight up linebackers.
You can't use Brian Burns.
Yeah. Is straight up linebackers. We can go around the horn, stump the Schwab style. Let's go one more call and we'll do that.
Hello, guys. You know who this is, Panther Pickle. Listen, I'm at work hanging out outside, and I just wanted to say, we all as fans need to understand and remember this is a rebuild. John Fox and Ron Rivera at different times, while they were coaching here, said fans need to temper their expectations, and that could never be more true than it is now. Okay, we need to temper our expectations. We need to understand that we are in a rebuild. We are not going to get where we want to be in 1 or 2 years. It's unlikely. Now, if all your goal is to be better than you were the next year, we may be there, but there's no guarantee of that today. So what we need to do as a fan base is to understand that and remember that. And I like Dylan Johnson a lot more than I like probably anybody except for Hubbard or Brooks on this roster now, as far as running back. But what I like and what I want to do may be different than what Canales wants to do, because he runs the offense. He's pretty much the de facto offensive coordinator. So now, as also, I like Lamar Jackson, but what Ivero wants to do may be different than what we want to do. And Lamar was hurt. So there's a lot of things when they're turning rosters like this that we don't know, that we need to be patient and allow the coordinators and the coaches to do what they need to do. Keep pounding, y'all. Keep your faith up. Remember, at C3 Panther Podcast and C3 Legion, we value what your opinion is. Even if we don't agree with it, we value that and we give you a voice.
Yes, sir.
Keep pounding.
Keep pounding.
I agree with him that people need to calm down in a rebuild, but haven't we been in a rebuild for like the last 5 years? Like,
Yeah,
at what point in time are we not in a rebuild?
We're not
anymore?
rebuilding, dude. We've
Yeah.
destroyed, we've rebuilt, we've destroyed. All right, let's try this. I've been sitting here thinking, I can only think, I'm embarrassed.
Yeah, I'm
I've
fucked.
got two.
This is ridiculous.
I've got one.
I think I got one.
I've got like maybe two.
I'm feeling like I'm blanking on I know one. I don't know his name. All right, I'll go first since I only got one, and I came up with a question. Tahir Whitehead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was 20. I think that was 2020.
I don't remember one of my guys' first names, but his last name was Carter.
He was cool. He was with the team back from like Ron Rivera.
Yeah, but he was there. I know he for sure was there in 2020.
Was it Michael Carter?
No, I can't remember what it
Jermaine
is.
Carter.
Jermaine Carter.
Jermaine Carter.
Jermaine Carter Jr. Yeah.
And then Deion Jones.
Wait,
yeah.
You were supposed to stop at the Schwab.
He knew he was doing that too.
All right, Greg, who you got?
Chase Blackburn.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like yes, that's Matt Rule. Very good.
Okay.
Who you got, Cody?
My turn. Frankie Luvu.
Okay.
Yeah, that was easy.
All right. Because I suck with names, it's the guy that got the speeding ticket that went and became a Pro Bowler.
Yeah, but you have to say his name, or else it doesn't count.
What the fuck
doesn't count,
was his
Jeff.
name?
Rashad?
Was it Rashad Menden? No, Rashad Mendenhall. That was a running back. Something white.
Don't look at the chat because you're gonna end up seeing.
I'm not looking. That's all I got. Think about that. Is and are we? Should I be embarrassed by that?
Yeah, just kidding. No.
Yeah.
No.
What about,
I mean, does it? I think that kind of proves my point of like.
Oh, what was that guy that I?
Was
what was that dude?
Oh wait, I thought you knew that. I had to know the name. I thought you had to know the name.
I haven't even said him. The guy that that I was.
You can't remember the name.
No, he was number 40. I wanted him to get a chance.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Brandon Smith. I won't take it because Kev showed it to me. But
Brandon Smith. No, I don't remember that guy at all.
yeah,
Didn't AJ
he was
Klein
out
play
of,
for the
we
Panthers for a little
drafted
while?
him out of.
Yeah, but that was way
Penn
before
State.
this period. That was before 2020. It was Denzel Perryman. Thank you.
Yeah,
Chat.
Denzel Perryman.
What did I say? I said Rashad Perry.
Rashawn Merriman or
What
something.
you
No, I
said
said Rashad
Mendenhall.
Mendenhall. All right. Thank
Did you
you
say
for the.
career Whitehead? You said.
Yeah, that's who I
Yeah.
said. That's the only one I could remember because he was a big old pimple head on the damn field. The point being is we've been dying for a linebacker that we can remember their name. Who were the linebackers last year, by the way? Luvu, Shaq.
Yeah, Luvu, Shaq. Well, Shaq got
And then
hurt.
what happened after Shaq got hurt? I don't even. It wasn't Jermaine Carter. He's already gone.
I can't remember who was. That's how big our nobodies.
All right, 10 more super chats, and we'll do that for another position group of your choice, folks. Let's go to White Chocolate Espresso, my bastard son.
Yo, White Chocolate Espresso. Talking to you live from work. I'm working 16 hours today.
Oh.
On a 66-hour work week.
Minus 137-minute
I'll be
phone
watching
call.
tonight. I just want to say a couple things. Cody?
Why is everyone trying to start fights?
I need you to do something, right? I'm going to need you to start putting some respect on these corners.
That we cut.
Some respect on their name. You know what I'm saying? This defense.
That's on the names that we
Don't
don't
worry
know.
about the defense. Man,
Where
don't
they
even
are.
worry
Yeah,
about
Gruger Hill.
Gruger Hill, good
the
one.
defense. Tight. You see all these defensive rookies out here balling? You kidding me? Nah, we good on defense. In fact, I'm so high right now on this defense. I think I went from maybe 7 to 9 wins. I say 7 to 10.
Damn, it said 9 wins.
That's how high I am.
He's so high at work on the phone.
Yeah.
You know, the only thing I'm worried about is the center position, really.
He's off that.
Because I think our receivers going to do their thing.
That
I ain't worried
hospital
about shit.
cocaine nose spray.
To be honest with you. I'd say 7 to 10 wins now.
I'm on my way.
2-7 now. His defense, Cody, puts respect on their name.
All right.
Now.
Good stuff.
right.
I love Kev has been for people listening, Kev has been really talking up that the defense could improve this year despite everybody assuming it's going to regress. And I don't think he's been wrong. I've kind of been with him on this. And CK and I have both been like, hey, we weren't too high on last year's defense, regardless or despite some of these fool's gold statistics. But we just don't know. And we know the Panthers didn't put any money into the defense. But he's been a big clowny guy. Good call, Kev. I'm on my way to hang out. Next call.
What's going on, C3? It's Anthony from Charlotte. Hope y'all boys are having a good Tuesday. Just started my final year in college, man.
Oh, man.
It's going to be a good year for all of us. I truly believe
Enjoy it, brother.
whether the Panthers are good or not. But speaking of the Panthers, it's August 20th. Really, 2.5 weeks, man. Going to be right there. I mean, the first game's on Thursday night. Chiefs-Ravens should be a good game. Just wanted to call in and give my thoughts on, what I do think about this whole preseason thing and then just some early record stuff. So I know there's been a lot of debate between the C3 community and just online about the preseason players playing or not. Really, for me, it just comes down to maybe I wanted to see Bryce Young a little bit in this offensive line. Dave Canales keeps emphasizing that there's been a lot of injuries, so I guess his philosophy is he doesn't want to start, players on the injured list, like straight up out coming out of the season. And then there's also talk about like how this team could start slow from not getting these reps. Listen, man, I mean, Bryce Young was in the press conference today. He said, we're going to be ready no matter what. I guess take his word for it. I hope he's right. But to be honest, I wasn't expecting this team to come out firing on all cylinders anyways. There's a lot of new pieces. And it's just it's gonna take time. And then the other thing I got to comment on are some of these people saying we're going to start out 6-4, 7-3. My only thing to you guys, and I'm sorry, I got to ice you guys up. Outside of putting your Panthers hat on, what in the past 7 years has shown you that we're going to come out in a 10-game stretch and start 6-3, 7-3, or 6-4? It just doesn't make sense to me. I really just going to keep my personal takes record-wise about this opinion in myself, but I will say if I had to spitball a record prediction right now through the first 10 games, probably say you're looking at somewhere around like 3-7, 4-6. Hopefully in the last 7 games, win like 5 out of the 7 or something. I don't know. The schedule's pretty tough towards the end, but I really got to see what this team can do the first couple weeks before I make any serious allegations towards what we can be. I hope Bryce Young proves himself this year. This is a big year for all of us, whether you love or hate Bryce Young. If he's not it, we're going to have to draft a new quarterback, and I know fans are going to be happy that they're right about him not being the future, but drafting a new quarterback ain't going to be good for.
No, I agree. It's not going to be good at all if we're having to draft another quarterback.
Yeah, me and Anthony were actually having a discussion about this the other day in the Dynasty League chat, and it's funny because people always picture me as because I don't necessarily like Bryce. It's not that I don't like him; it's that I don't have faith in Bryce yet because I haven't seen it. That I hate him, and and Anthony's like, no, I kind of get your point there, but that's the way you're always pictured. If you're not like 1,000% behind Bryce Young, you absolutely hate him, and that's not true. I just want to see what's going on. But I do question about, and actually perfect timing because I have that question in the chat. If we see little to no improvement in Bryce Young this year, are we looking for a quarterback next year? Like is it 2 years and done with him?
I think
or does he get a longer leash?
I believe so much of it is dependent upon what he does. If he has a good season and the team still ends up being below 500, then that's okay. He showed some signs of life. And it also depends on who's there. Right now, the most popular thing to say is that this next year's quarterback class is not very good. Like Shedeur Sanders is the big name right now, which a lot of people feel lots of different ways about him. But there might not be that quarterback that we would even want at that position. So there's lots of things that are relevant to this discussion. Go ahead.
Yeah. CK. I was going to say, I think that we don't make a focus to draft one, but I do think that if he doesn't improve, I think they make a competition with a free agent quarterback coming in. That could be in the form of a Russell Wilson or a Justin Fields, because one of them are not going to be on the Steelers team next year, or maybe even both of them. I think that there will be a concerted effort to say, hey, listen, Bryce is not guaranteed anything next year. But I don't think I don't think we're taking a top. If we're in the top 5, I don't think we're taking a quarterback. I think they would much rather use that pick on something else, especially being that we're not necessarily in a valuable quarterback class right now.
Yeah. And I agree with Anthony. The best option is for Bryce to get better. That's what I would like. I would like to have for Bryce to get better rather than having to draft a new quarterback. That would be the ideal situation. If we have to draft a new quarterback, then we're set back to another beginning of another rebuild. And it's just going to be terrible, man. We're going to be an eternal rebuild.
And here's the thing, too, is the idea. There are people out there. Here's the real reality of it. There are people out there that are Panthers fans that do not want him to succeed. Because if he succeeds, they were wrong.
Right.
And that those people exist. And that's the most ridiculous way to feel about anything, because this is your team. The only thing you should care about is this team being good. And if Bryce Young is good, then that should be good news for you. But I think a lot of people are taking the mindset of, if he's not good, I was right. If he is good, my Panthers are good all of a sudden, But I think they would rather be right.
Well, the good and the I guess the silver lining, if he is not good, is that under the new structure, it doesn't handicap or cripple your team forever.
Right.
Imagine this is the old Sam Bradford days where you had to pay him $100 million out of the gate and then find that out. All right, let's go on to John B.
Well, hang on. We also got a C3 love bomb here with the $4.99. Says, Eagles fan living in Charlotte, but I watch you guys often. Keep up the great content. Y'all think Brooks on target to play by mid-year? fantasy sleeper.
Week 4. Week 4.
So.
Yeah, we seem to think that by week 4 we should be able to see him at some point. And I think that he's going to be a hit in this offense. I can't wait to see him in this offense. Another C3 bomb. Vegas Panthers Drew back in with another $5. This is bad day. I have never been a Bryce fan, but I want to be proven wrong where others are hardcore because they want to be right.
That's where I feel right now.
And it
I
is
agree.
funny because I feel like me and Greg unfairly get called this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like people think that me and Greg want Bryce to fail so that him and I can go, oh, see, you should have drafted CJ. We would much prefer, and Greg, don't let me
Anthony
speak for you.
Richardson.
Don't let anyone tell you that anyone on this pod doesn't want this team to come out and just smack fools every Sunday, man. That's what we want. No one's pulling for anyone to lose or to not be successful. But if it does happen, then we're going to be insufferable. And there's that.
Yeah, we just don't wear rose-colored glasses, man. Like I call things as I see them. You know, like I've admitted Bryce has looked great in training camp. He's looked great in practices, and he had some times last year where he looked really good, had some really good passes, but he hasn't been consistent enough for what we drafted him for. I believe he could be, but there's a chance he's not. I really would like to see him get to that point. But there's a chance he's not, you know?
You know what Panther fans are saying to you guys?
I never wanted to see.
You know what they're saying to you?
Starter AP.
Yeah, I opened
They're
up
saying-
Twitter. I know what they're saying to me.
They're saying shame.
Yeah.
Shame on you.
Make us walk the streets like Cersei. Goodness gracious.
Gosh, you know what? I feel like there is some shame that needs to be given.
Uh-oh.
Right now, there are over 100 people watching on YouTube, and there are only 52 likes. I think we need to shame some fools. CK.
It's been a while. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, you have come to talk about the Carolina Panthers and their brand new season, which has come upon us. It is right around the corner, and you have joined C3 to enjoy some content, enjoy some arguments, enjoy some debate, if you will. But you haven't hit that like button yet. Well, I have one thing to say to all you absolute freaks. Subscriber shame.
Viewers, 52 thumbs up. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell for every single time the C3 Panthers podcast goes live. Tony, I know you want to jump back into the calls, but Anthony brought this up.
Okay.
So I figured we could sort of go through it real quick. Sunday Night Football, Twitter's account, they put this out. What will the Panthers record be after week 10? So it's not a full season prediction, but just based on this, what are we feeling? Now, I know that today they said that Justin Herbert is more than likely going to be ready to play by week 1 for them. So I would assume that would mean that he would be available by week 2 when we played the Chargers at home. This is a tough one, man.
Oh, you know what? I'm going 4-6.
I'm going to agree with. I
think we can win 1 out of the first 3 games. I think we can win 1 out of the next 3 games, and then I think we could beat Washington and the Giants, Washington, Denver, and the 2 out of 3 out of the last 4 out of the Commanders, the Broncos, and the Giants.
And real quick, another C3 bomb by BG with a $4.99. Says, I wanted CJ bad. I watched all his games. It's not about being right. It's that those of us who studied Bryce and CJ's film thoroughly saw this. Oh, man.
Also kind of being right.
Yeah, I was amongst them. But hey, man, I want nothing more than to be wrong. I am going
I went 4-6. That's pretty optimistic.
I'll give everybody a loophole for the Sunday ticket. It's like $385, but if you upgrade your phone on Verizon, it's only $120 to upgrade your phone. You get the Sunday ticket for free, which is cool. So I did that, And I looked at their NFL content they have on there right now, and they were going through every team about what their records are going to be this year. They have the Carolina at 2-15 this whole season.
Oh, yeah.
As the predicted record from the NFL. Beating the Raiders and the Saints, I believe, the second game against the Saints. And honestly, through the first 10 weeks, I think we maybe win 3 this year, but through the first 10 weeks, I think that's pretty accurate. Probably just 2 wins, 2-8. That's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna be the optimist here, and I'm gonna say at least 5 wins. No, I'm gonna say at least 5 wins, but I feel like it's gonna be 6, and I'm gonna tell you why. I think the last 4 on this list are gonna be wins. We're going to. I mean, let's be real about it. Those are gonna be wins.
I don't know. Jaden Daniels is fucking gonna be a dog.
Apparently, Bo
the Giants
Nix,
are in Germany.
Apparently, Bo Nix has looked really good for the Broncos.
Yeah, but didn't they just like do something to cut him or something?
No, Bo Nix was their first round pick.
Oh no!
No,
What did they do? They did, or they put him on like some. I can't remember. I was looking at. Maybe I'm remembering it wrong.
Oh,
but
Kristen Butler just screwed it all up. She jinxed it. She said for sure. I was like, oh god.
But I think
6
I think
losses for sure.
I think those last 4. I think those are all winnable games, and I think the Raiders game is a winnable game. Depends upon if Herbert's playing against the Chargers. I know people are loving on Caleb Williams, but I still think the Bears are a big question mark on what they're going to be this year. They're still coming from an organization that's still had a top 5 pick last year.
Oh, I think the Bears win their division this year.
Oh, come on.
Oh, my gosh. Are you kidding me?
I'm not ready to say that.
We're gonna see.
Paper champion.
Sammy Darnold, Sammy Dimes up there in Minnesota.
Yeah. Don't forget about Green Bay. Don't forget about Green Bay and Detroit chomping at the kneecaps.
I'm just saying,
the real AP wants us to make a contest out of this somehow. So, Greg, that's your homework. How do we make a contest out? All right. So I went, did I said 4 and 6. You just said how much, CK? We need to write these down. Someone
I
write.
said 5 and 5 at least.
Greg, write these down because you keep up with crap. I'll write it on this little piece of paper and throw it out in 2 seconds.
Well, we do a contest. We do a contest every year, though. We do the weekly prediction. So we do need to keep up with that this year and have some kind of prize at the end. Maybe I'll 3D print a trophy or something for us.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's do a 3D, a 10. What would this be? 10 7, like what would it be? 10 17ths? The 10 17ths printed at 10 17th scale.
Okay.
Whatever that is.
Let's do it like this. If we're going to do a competition, we'll do 5 points for whoever's the closest on the first 10 games, 10 points whoever's the closest on the 17 games, and then 1 point each week for if you get
Love
it. Right.
It. Write that down so we don't forget it. I like that. That's our contest between us and
so I'm 2 and 8. Cody, Tony, what are you?
I am 4 and 6. 4 and 6.
4 and 6. CK
was 5 and 5.
5 and 5. And Cody, what are you?
I am 3 and 7.
3 and 7.
Wow, we are the optimists, CK.
Okay, so that's the 5-pointer right there. 10 points. So now we got to do the whole season. So just so we can have that out of the way.
But do we have to do that one now, or are we doing that like?
Let's do that one next week. Yeah, and then we'll do it.
We'll do that right before the season kicks off.
Yeah, right before the start of the season. But by the way, the games that I think that we're gonna win, I think we're gonna beat the Raiders. Gardner Minshew is their starter.
Bullshit! You ain't winning against.
But let me tell you what: if Bryce Young,
Tony.
If Bryce Young can't be the better quarterback on the day between himself and Gardner Minshew, I think we got some problems.
Tony,
I
don't know how to find it in the app, dude.
I do think that we're going to beat the Raiders. I do think that we are going to beat. See, it was tough for me. I'm saying either the Bengals or the Bears because the Bengals are never good early in the year. If you go back even to when they won the Super Bowl, or not one, but when they went to the Super Bowl, they don't start fast. So I'll say that we'll beat the Raiders, we'll beat the Bengals, and I think we're going to beat New Orleans.
All right. Remember, I think we and Greg, to add to the contest, what we should do is when we get to week 10, we should be able to readjust and have like 2 points or something, like, but you know what I'm saying, for the last 7 we can redo our total or something.
Okay.
We'll think about some cool caveats.
Yeah.
Can we go to another call then?
Yeah, Kev is saying he can send invites for a C3 Pick'em game.
Oh yeah. All right. All right, let's go to another call. This is John B. Jenkins with our Euro football update.
Hey guys, it is John B. Jenkins here with your European League of Football update.
John
and the
B.
update on your favorite team, or at least my favorite team in the league, the Panthers Wrocław. Flip the script from last week. We had a victory, 54-19 over the Frankfurt Galaxy. It was exciting. The highlights, check them out. I'll post them up on Twitter here soon. Should have done that sooner. But anyway, it was awesome. I know some people are kind of getting bored with these updates, but what kind of Panthers fan would I be if I did not keep pounding and continue to give them to you? This was the second to last week. We have one more game coming up. I do not believe the Panthers will be in the playoffs, but this game against the Frankfurt Galaxy was pretty freaking awesome. Our emergency quarterback, who I guess is just going to be our quarterback for the rest of the season, which is, again, only one game, Josiah Anderson was awesome. David Brzezowski was awesome. AJ Whitland, again, awesome. It was just fun to watch if you were a Wrocław Panthers fan like I am. Yeah, like I said, one more game. Also, I went to the Jets game, had those club level tickets, and Tony, let me tell you, I think you were right. I don't think if I'm offered club level tickets or even like ground level tickets, I would go again. It was fun to do. It was fun to kind of like have the experience of seeing what the club level people get to see, which is better food and higher prices.
Yeah.
The seats were awesome. I wish, of course, we could have won.
Or that you would have known the players in the game.
I mean, it's just so expensive these days to go to a football game. I don't know. Yeah, that's about all I had for this update. Again, I've got one more Panthers Wrocław update coming up next week, and then that'll be it. And I'll update you here and there in the off season. But I'm looking forward to the regular season of the Carolina Panthers. And as always, keep pounding Carolina Panthers. Keep pounding Panthers Wrocław, and keep pounding C3. This has been John B. Jenkins. Love you guys, and I'll see you next week.
Keep pounding. By the way, I'm just now realizing that the Wrocław Panthers, their helmets are like kind of what we're wanting. Our logo just on the black, pure black background. I think that looks so dope.
I like how people are split about the Euro football update. Is like, first of all, it's fantastic when we have
I haven't seen one person say a negative thing about it. Whereas,
but here, that's what I say.
Hämmere weiter.
Hämmere weiter.
Hämmere weiter.
Keep pounding. Keep pounding. All right. No, when it comes to the cost, I'm telling. Look, I could see this is that if you live in the Charlotte area, or if you can make that drive in like an hour or so, I could see how you could swing it to where it would be a fun thing to do. But if you really have to trek it, so we're talking tank and a half, 2 tanks of gas or so, you're talking about staying a night there. You're talking about catching dinner, breakfast. Well, even if you're crashing at Cody's on Cody's couch, and then if you drink one beer, not even it's just is a lot. It's exhausting. And then you go and say, man, I could be watching this on TV. I mean, you go for the experience.
Mm-hmm.
You go for the experience, but I don't know why you would go and travel for a preseason experience. Like if I lived in Charlotte, I would show up, right? I mean, I would do anything if I lived in Charlotte. It's like, hey.
Hey, I can't wait for week 2. I live right by the stadium. I'm going to the home opener. This will be my second year going to the home opener. I'm stoked for that. And I'm going to the home game against the Saints. It's right down the street for me, man. And going there, I've already got some great memories there. So to me, it's like another opportunity to build more. But you're right. You're going there for the environment, being around the Panther fans.
You miss the game. You miss half the game.
Yeah, preseason is actually the time to go, by the way. And especially because it's cheaper, by the way, number one. Number two is like John B. Jenkins was able to experience was you can get in the club seats and pay less than what you would have, and you can experience what that would be like without, having to spend $1,500 on 2 tickets, right? So, I mean, that's the only time I have actually traveled to a preseason game was when Susan Deans actually was generous enough to allow me to go and use those tickets to see that. And I brought a couple of people with me, and it was a couple of guys, and we had a nice little weekend down in Charlotte. So I mean, that makes the most sense to me. But I agree. I mean, it's one of these things where you have to. I mean, if you're sitting up in the nosebleeds, are you really going to be making a trip for 3 hours to go see the Panthers play in preseason, especially not knowing if they're going to have starters on the field?
For me, doing the podcast and like we have to talk about specifics and stuff of the game, like I find myself just overwhelmed by the environment and experience. I'm talking to people beside me. I'm high-fiving. I'm doing all of this. Like the best environment for me to watch the game for this podcast is like alone. It's like alone. And I've even tried doing the double screen, because CK and I have this. We can't tell you about our TV service, which is the best in the history of the planet. But you can do 2 games, 4 games at the time. I've tried doing that and I'm distracted. Like I need to just zero in on that sucker and take some notes for the show.
That's funny, Tony, because I watch the game alone so nobody sees me cry.
Then they just watch us cry on the podcast after. Then you let 600 people live watch you cry afterwards.
Right. Hey, I will say though, if you've never been to a game or you haven't been in a few years and you're going, don't bring cash because they don't take cash there.
Oh, great! Yeah,
I didn't realize that last time. I brought all cash and then I didn't even bring my card with me, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, great. Yeah, all right.
You want to power through some of these slides?
No, I want to do. Let's do 2 more. Let's do a couple more calls and then we'll do a couple more slides.
Okay.
Yo, my C3 family. Hey, Sanford, North Carolina.
What's up, brother?
Shout out to the great Tony Dunn, the homie Cody Lack, CK, Coach Thistle, Fat Daddy in the building, my brother from another mother, D's Hill Skills, Mr. Shut the hell up. Yo, that effing guy, Muscles Marinara, Cole, the whole Legion, the whole family. Hope everybody's doing wonderful. I noticed the title was saying, was they gonna rumble or not? I don't care. It's football, man. It's collision. If somebody's not getting aggressive, if somebody's not getting upset off a hit, then I don't want it in the first place. It's only when we get to the ignorant stuff where we can't get the work in that we need to get in because of just scuffling. That's when it becomes an issue. But as far as where they go, as far as like right now where we at, and we look at training camp, we looked at joint practice where obviously they opened a lot of eyebrows. They surprised a lot of people. They kind of brought some excitement and hope to the 704. Then to come out there with the backups and the guys out there Saturday, they fought hard. They had energy. They were vibrant. They was not just playing to make a team, but it almost felt like they were playing for the Panther on the side of their helmet. That's always a beautiful thing to have when you're trying to build a team. And also, if you're not getting excited, you just don't have a heart. You don't have a pulse. Or you just got so much PTSD at this point, you can't even muster the will to be excited about your team. But when you got to look at it and look at it full surface, a lot of times the lack of movement can be the best move. Some people were disappointed about acquisitions that weren't made or made a priority. Some people were kind of overreacting with certain moves and so forth. And I'm here to tell you right now, trust the process. And I know in a lot of avenues in life, when you hear trust the process, go ahead, put your head down, your stomach start hurting, you might get nauseous. But I'm here to tell you people, we're working on something. We're building something. And the excitement that is starting to permeate through the 704 I like to call it the Canales effect, where guys are playing
The
hard,
Canales effect.
cultures are being set, and guys have the right mentality and attitude. We had guys that didn't even be on the team for a day or two perform extraordinary on the offensive line Saturday. We had guys out there flying around like Trevin Wallace. There's a lot to be excited for, people. There's a lot. Get excited, folks.
He's got 11 more seconds because he's got to get his.
Well, I guess that was enough for me. But like always, I love every single one of you getting ramped up for the season to start.
D, first, we love you, your family member, your brother. I'm also glad that you stuck around. Not that you would abandon, you know what I'm saying? But my man taking some shit out there on the streets. He's like, nah.
He's in our intro. He's got to stick around.
He's in our intro.
He's in our intro. Yeah.
Well, where's G Baby? G Baby will be back. I bet money.
I hope so. I don't know.
I miss G Baby.
Yeah.
If somebody tell G Baby I miss him.
I mean, I'm sure he'll know.
He'll know. He knows out there. All right. Let's do one more call and then we'll get through a couple of more points here.
Hi guys, Daniel here. Are doing well.
Yeah, what's up, thank you for calling.
Just calling, man. I mean, Panthers fans, man. Sometimes, they kill me, man. Like complaining about not having their starters in the preseason, man. And I'm like, be like, damn if he does, damn if he does, if he doesn't, I don't understand it, man. Like,
well, that's because there's no answer
if he would
to
have
it.
put the starters out there and God forbid they get hurt with our depth, we'd be screwed. And then everybody would be up in arms because, he played the starters, now we're screwed. He doesn't, and they're not good enough. They need to. I just don't understand this. I just got into a discussion on Panthers YouTube, about this, and I just don't understand it. The preseason, I understand that they need the reps, and I understand all these things. But if they get good practice in, that's plenty enough reps for me. Why risk injury before the season even starts?
This guy knows what he's talking
If our starters get injured before the season even starts, then you can just pretty much kiss the season goodbye.
I feel
We
like
have
you could
no
say that
depth.
with practice, though.
We have to be smart
Then they
about
shouldn't
this, guys.
practice.
And as Panthers fans, we
Not
have
the
to
same.
stop being so
Bubble wrap these
emotional and
bitches.
actually stop and
It's not
think
the
about
same.
what's best for the team and
It's a
not
long
just
season.
our entertainment. If you're really a Panthers fan,
Yeah.
then think what's best for the team, not just because you want to be entertained.
No, all right.
But
So
anyways, guys, continue the great show. I appreciate what y'all do. As always, keep pounding.
thank you for the call. Thank you for the insight too. And you got Cody loves your call. I'm not for the entertainment value. And I think that's where CK and I kept going back to. It's not, they don't have to prove something to us. It's just about them getting better. But you know what? There are different angles to this. There's different. We talked about this. We've been talking about it for 3 weeks now. It's like a cost. What is it? The cost, risk, cost benefit analysis, risk reward. Yeah. And so there are different rewards and there are different risks. Now, again, I think we could go back and let's not get bogged down into it. But, at one point, NFL teams were doing 2-a-days, hitting in pads every day of the year. And have we seen non-contact injuries go up since this? I don't know. We can find data for all of it. All right. I mean, look, the benefit of not playing them is to continue to protect them for that 17-game stretch.
I mean, sometimes when you start too fast, things happen more quickly than you would like them to. Sometimes
I feel like that's a problem for a lot of dudes.
You just gotta start slow. Resist the urge to just jump right in. No, take a second, take a breath, make sure you know what you're doing.
How about a little foreplay, Cody?
When it matters.
Tony's mom's in the chat.
I know.
Hey, I'm talking
You
about.
said the show's getting
Hey,
better every week.
Hey,
I'm like,
hey,
I'm
hey,
gonna
hey.
ruin this show
I'm
right
talking
now.
about football. What are y'all talking about?
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm talking about
Same
football
thing.
and how
Yeah.
sometimes
It's a metaphor for all things in life.
when you're playing
So is
football,
the other thing.
you can't start too fast, or you might fumble the ball all over the place.
Oh,
You know what I'm
hey-oh.
saying? You
Look,
really
my
have
mom
to
loves CK. She's like, get on the. All right, let's go back to the show, guys. Well, first we got people. I'm a Cam section. We got
Take
Bryce
your
sections
time
out there. We got.
and don't fumble. That's all I'm saying. Truly,
Thank you for those sage words.
you're welcome.
All right, what do we got next?
Yeah, man. Let's move into this kicker battle.
Oh.
That's right. And it's not a battle because the decision has already been made. But I never really got a chance to speak on this because I wasn't on the show last week. And I feel that Dave Canales went back on his own word and tell me that hey, am I making too much of a big deal out of a kicker? Fine, maybe. But Dave Canales, out of his own mouth, said that he was going to wait and get as much information as possible to properly evaluate the kicking battle between Eddie Pinheiro and Harrison Mevis. As you already reported, Harrison Mevis is no longer on the team. And today, when there is no competition for Eddie Pinheiro, he goes 3 of 5 on field goals to close out the practice. Gentlemen, at some point in time, you have to take a risk on a younger, more talented player.
Whoa. Let's be careful.
I was
with
gonna
the
say,
more
you know
talent.
you're making an argument against your other argument, right?
Is, dude. No. Dude,
You are.
the Panthers are not going to the Super Bowl. Everyone knows that. Why
Okay, they're
not
never
take
part of the
the
question, part of
time?
the equation.
Then why protect their players in the preseason if they're not going to the Super Bowl?
Why not take the time to build up a younger player that has a bigger leg, that has more potential to hit from further out than Eddie Pinheiro?
Now,
Like,
replace that with quarterback.
Why go with the
It's the same
safer
argument.
pick? No, you're trying to have another conversation. I'm
That's
talking
not
about
another conversation.
the Panthers kicker. No,
in
it's
one
the
hand,
same
you're
conversation.
saying Canales' evaluation of players is fantastic, and the other you're saying it's terrible.
No,
That's what
I'm
you're doing
saying
right here.
why would he go back
Yeah.
on his word after saying that he would give
didn't.
the
I
kicker
think-
competition? Yes, he did. He said
No,
that he
I
would
think,
give
Cody, I do
as
think there
much
was.
time as possible to evaluate the competition.
But that's not a
before making that
promise.
decision.
That
Right,
doesn't give
it-
you a specific timetable. He
Good point.
waited until the majority of training camp was over before he did it. Like it's not
And
like he did
also
this
when
in the
there were
first 2 weeks.
injuries and they had to add players, I think the Mevis guy was also partially like kind of like we got to make it. We need other players in other positions right now, and he's probably not going to get it.
Right.
All right,
They
but y'all
already
just
knew.
remember all the things that you just said to me when Eddie Pinheiro is missing from 55 yards or missing valuable field goals, all because everybody's like, oh, he's the most accurate kicker. Bam, 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 bam.
Well, first, I don't like Pinheiro. I like
Give me a
Pinheiro.
break, man.
The only thing I like less is his haircut. I haven't been in love with a kicker for a long time with this team, and I was really against Graham Gano. I had a real problem against him. I've gone over it on the podcast about why.
How'd that work out?
Super Bowl and then week 1 of 2016. I think his missed field goal in week 1 against 2016 when Cam led a fourth quarter comeback drive against the team that had beat them in the Super Bowl before. He misses a game-winning kick. I think that set the team on a trajectory of just calamity. Then we had Michael Organ, or like it just. I didn't like Graham Gano, and then everybody be like, "Oh, well, he kicked a 63-yarder against the Giants." I was. None of this would be a problem if we would have gone with Butker.
Yeah.
So still there.
And-
All right, what's next?
I'll almost guarantee that towards the middle of the season, no one's going to be like, oh, I'm so glad we went with Eddie Pinheiro. He's been so awesome. Like, dude, sometimes you just know. And I just know. Eddie Pinheiro's not it, damn it. He's not it.
His haircut sure isn't. I tell you that. Good
Tony,
God.
now we're going
It's
to move from
bad.
someone who isn't dear to your heart in the form of Eddie Pinheiro to someone who is dear to your heart in the form of David Newt.
Oh, I thought we were going to Cam. All right. All right. Who's he talking to here?
All right. So Damian Lewis was at the
All right.
podium. And for those of you who don't know, he was absent from training camp, I believe, the past like week and a half, week or two. I mean, he's been gone.
And he's had a shoulder injury too.
Yeah.
Hey, before we hit this, read the super chats real quick before we hit this. We got
Cody wants his fat joke. You disrespectful son of a bitch. Disrespectful.
Not
See,
just
this
true.
is why we don't ever get good things.
We're
Because
5
the
super
Panthers-
chats away from us having to name a position group of
Panthers-
your choice from the last 4 years.
The
Stump the Schlub.
Panthers are too scared to make a long-term business decision. That's all that is. All right, David Newton, back in the news. People are big mad. So Dave Newton continued at Damian Lewis and asked him why was he not available for training camp over this private matter, and he kept on and on. And this is
Let's hear what on and on is. I want to hear it.
he already asked
let's
it
hear it.
once. He already asked it once before, and
Okay.
then they went back to Dave Newton, and this is the second time that he asked it, and this is how Lewis responded.
How would you describe what you were going through, the personal matter? Because we can better understand a little bit what you were going through.
It's something really I don't even want to talk about, but it definitely, hard.
So he kind of froze.
So y'all want
want
to shit on him for that question?
If it was already asked and he said, I'm not going to talk about it.
Yeah, he said it was said to be a personal matter, a personal issue, and then the fact that Lewis kind of was like he kind of stumbled. It's like it didn't. You could tell
Because
that,
clearly
like,
it
a
was something
sensitive
important.
subject. Yeah, well, Dave Newton getting a lot of flack for not knowing when to not inquire into a personal matter.
Do you think he
And
knew
people have
something?
already.
Nah, he didn't
know.
Yeah, nah. Dave Newton just is all right. I'll let y'all look. Dave Newton. Everybody hates Dave Newton, except for me.
I don't mind him, but I don't really pay much attention to him.
He asked the questions that people don't want to ask, but they don't have the nuts to ask.
It comes along with the territory that Dave will, yes, sometimes ask the best questions that need to be asked, and sometimes doesn't have enough couth to know when is not necessarily the best time to ask certain things.
Right.
So
He could have said, "Look, it's a family matter." I mean, he could have, but Dave, if he's being so close to the vet, what I would, and we're trying to play devil's advocate here a little bit, where I am, is he's on the scent of something.
I mean, that could be the case. He may just want a little bit more details so that,
Like, why are you so close to the vest? Why don't you just say it's a family matter?
Right. But here's the thing. Here's my approach. And, even if he is on the prowl and he knows what it is, like if it's sensitive enough to where he does not want to talk about it, then you probably shouldn't ask about it in a public forum on a live stream in that regard.
Right.
Agreed.
That's a fair point.
So, I mean, here's my approach, right? Let's say Tony, or anybody, let's say you have a parent
you
that
can fuck
passes
me
away.
up with this question right now. You could ask me something right now and be
Well, I'm
like,
going to keep yours. I'm not going to keep it so personal, at least not for real life things for you right now. But let's just say a parent passes away, right? And you step away, and you come back, and the first thing a reporter asks you, knowing that it was a personal matter, is why were you gone, right? And you don't want to talk about it because, especially not on a
you don't want
forum
to cry like
you don't want to be
Greg
crying
does on
yeah,
the first
exactly.
game.
And so, like, if you're in that position, you're going to be like, what? Like, yeah, I don't want to talk about it. And then to have it asked again after you've already established that this is a personal matter that you're not going to get into details on, that's the part that I think if it was the first question, okay.
I kind of want to hear how he phrased it the first time and what the response is. But I think that's a fair point, CK, is like, but someone said in the chat that he asked the most irrelevant questions. I disagree. I think he asked the bluntest of questions. He'll be like, So what do you guys think about taking Bryce Young over CJ Stroud or some shit like that? You'd be like, that's what we no. I like David Newton, man. It's y'all hate on it. It's not an easy look. It's easy to be an armchair quarterback. Look, we're doing it right here.
But can I just say that it's so funny that they started a petition on change.org to get or whatever the fuck to get Dave Newton fired.
That's all virtue signaling, bro.
Well,
No,
Tony's had
but-
the
and
best
by the
position
way-
on this.
And by the way, also,
Oh.
if I'm not going to
Tell him,
recount
CK.
everything. I'm not going to recount everything that Dave Newton has ever done. But if you know Dave Newton, dude, he's done shit that is worse than that and still has his job. So that's not going to be
CK?
what takes his job.
So the reason that you'll never see Dave Newton disappear from ESPN is because we're talking about him on a podcast.
Mug
These
gets
questions,
clicks.
The dude will get clicks. The dude will continue to he'll mess up names, gets clicks, gets mentioned,
Writes a
all this
headline.
stuff. Right.
He's like,
So I mean, it's the mindset of all publicity is good publicity, right? I think.
How
he's
else are they
got
going
that
to find
for him.
somebody that they pay $85,000 a year that does that?
Right.
I'd do it. $35,000 a year.
Yeah, but you couldn't do it. I mean, no offense, Greg.
Drag me through the mud.
Is like, could you be David Newton? And David Newton is it's like David Newton he's like Jameis Winston. He's unintentionally awesome. He's
like
unintentionally hilarious.
He's like that reporter that always asks the White House press secretary those questions that she hates to hear.
Yeah. That you're not going to answer, but somebody actually needs to ask. Like, we need to ask the question and you go, no comment. I don't know. All right. What do we got
Also,
next?
Mama Dunn, I'm sorry to talk about your death. My apologies.
Oh yeah, she's still alive. Don't worry, she's here.
Yeah,
She's here.
I didn't
She
mean
ain't
to, I
going
didn't mean to
nowhere.
hit that close to the vest. Saying a
No,
parent's
he
death.
didn't want to go another way.
Yes, I didn't want to go the other way.
Hey, speaking of David Newton, how about so this is the power
Look at this. Look, we're talking about it right here.
So this is power rankings from ESPN, and the Carolina Panthers are ranked 32nd out of all 32 teams. Dave
Got no
Newton will
problem
go
with
on to write. The Panthers traded for wide receiver Deontay Johnson and moved into the first round of the draft to get wide receiver Xavier Leggett. They spent $150 million on guards, Robert Hunt and Damian Lewis, to show up the middle of the offensive line. They used the second round pick, blah, 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 all the stuff we know. If Jones doesn't,
all the facts that David Newton, nobody gives him credit for. All right,
yeah, all the shit that we know.
Now here comes David Newton in the
if
out the
Jones
gate.
doesn't, but this is sort of what's controversial. If Young doesn't show market improvement, Carolina will have a high draft pick again and will be looking for a franchise quarterback.
That's not
And-
controversial, bro.
No,
That's
look,
real.
I asked
is-
that question in the poll earlier to see on that.
You know what it is? That's the quiet part being said out loud.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
And
what Dave Newton is good to do.
And a lot of reporters, and I think this has always been a Carolina thing, right? Is that it's always been a very friendly environment between the media and the team. Like they want to keep the team happy. They want to keep you know what I'm saying? If you're in New York, these mugs are going to be asking these sick ass questions all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's like they don't come with it. Like, so I think that there is like, that's not a controversial line.
No.
It's not even close. But people, they'll go Dave Newton trolling everybody. He's got what? They ask him to write 75 words. I think he hit on that.
Well,
He got everybody's name right.
Look, I put up that same question as a poll in the chat earlier, and 71% of people said yes, we should be drafting a quarterback. I said if Bryce shows little to no improvement this season, should we be drafting a quarterback next year?
Yeah.
71% said yes.
All right, what's next?
We're
rolling. We've been rolling through the show for the last couple of weeks. I like this
we did
pace.
the 1 through 10. Oh, so I promised Kev that we would do this. I didn't do it on the free for all, so I figured this would be fun to sort of reevaluate at the end of the show. Adam Thielen, would we consider any trades for Adam Thielen, and they say that the Chiefs and the Chargers would be the top candidates to send Adam Thielen away in a trade. So would you be, if the price was right, would you be willing to send Adam Thielen to another team if you were able to get some draft capital or maybe even a player or something?
Yes.
So the problem with this is there's got to be a couple of scenarios that we have to take into consideration. The odds are we're going to have to eat the cost of his contract.
Yep. Guaranteed. I'll look it up. Go ahead.
Yeah. Which is almost 10 million this year and 8.2 million next year.
We would only have to eat the guaranteed money.
Well, I'm saying
unless
that
they made it part of the
That's
deal.
what I'm
right?
saying. A team would make that part of the deal. There's not I can tell you right now, Kansas City isn't trading for Thielen and is going to take that contract on. I can tell you that
has the hardest name to spell too.
But I think that if I'm looking at it from the outside looking in, I don't think somebody's going to give him more than a 3rd round pick for him. And even if you get a 3rd round pick, we're eating the cost of that contract. I don't think it's worthy of getting rid of a security blanket for Bryce to get a 3rd round pick and then still have to eat that cost, because we've been in dead cap hell for so long. I'm not ready to continue that trend.
All right, here, I'm going to put it up, CK. It might not be as bad as you think for them. I think it'll be bad for the Panthers financially.
That's what I mean.
But look, is right now, 6. If we look right here, he's got 6.5 guaranteed. Let's see, prorated signing bonus is base salary $5.5 million. They would pick that up. Signing bonus and guaranteed. Why is it the guaranteed money next year?
His cap hit is 9.9 million this year. So that's what we're getting hit with. And so that's what I'm saying is if we trade him, we're still going to eat that entire
13 in dead money.
If we tried to cut him, it would be 13 million.
Oh, because look, is they prorated it over through 2027.
Yeah.
Well,
they spread that out so long.
Yeah.
Well, I don't even think it's necessarily all about the money either. Are you going to get rid of the only target Bryce is familiar with, really, and the only one you really had any kind of production with in last year? I mean, I'm not saying he's going to do that again this year, but that was the only shining part of our team last year was Thielen, and it wasn't even that bright, you know? It was just that he kept getting fed the ball 16, 17 times a game. So, well, not that much. I mean, hyperbolic, but I mean, that you don't take away Bryce's favorite target when you're trying to make this Bryce's prove year, because as soon as you do that, then everybody's going to say that Bryce wasn't given a fair chance because they took away his favorite target. So I say,
we're not. I'm not worried about.
I know,
that.
y'all aren't, but yeah.
I mean,
I'm just thinking if you're trying to talk about having this offense take a step forward, that Adam Thielen is, in my opinion, from what I've seen, the best route runner outside of maybe Deontay Johnson.
Yeah.
And he's probably the person who's going to be able to get the best separation in that slot position. And so I just don't think that you get rid of that with the potential promise of a third round draft pick if we get that, which again, that's a stretch if we're going to get a 3rd round.
All right. You want to go to a call or another top? Or I'm good on this. I don't think he's going anywhere. I don't think anybody really wants him that much. I think it could be a mid-season trade.
Yeah, let's.
If like some of your younger players were starting to show some promise,
that's what I'm saying. A lot of this is,
and somebody gets an injury for another team, and the Chiefs are looking like this, is like, oh God, it's week 5. We just lost this dude. We didn't like our guys anyway. We need somebody that can come in right away, or right away and be a pro.
Yeah, I'll just say this: it depends on what our record's looking like at the trade deadline. Like if it's looking like another lost season, which we kind of feel like it might be.
His ass.
Well, but no, you say that, but if it's another dependable receiving option down the stretch, a team might want a guy that has that type of experience. And he's long in the tooth. Imagine if Minnesota is good and he might want to go back home if they're making a run.
I
So-
agree. I think you could potentially find a scenario where you could, like, if a team is really like they're a contender, they lose a really big part of their offense. I think you could try to squeeze them for a second, sort of like the Rams were offering 2 firsts for Brian Burns because they were in the middle of a season that they felt they were able to contend in.
Right.
I think you can get a better promise. I think you can get a better price once there's a desperate team. There are no desperate teams right now.
Yeah, agreed. All right, let's take a call, Cody. All right.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the growl that makes them howl.
Hey guys, it's the growl that makes them howl, aka Joey the Blind Panther. I know I haven't called in
Joey.
forever. You know, we're there was nothing to talk about. You know, but I just wanted to say that I was happy with the Jets game. Okay, I mean what else do you want to see in preseason? You want to see them look better than they did the first game, which, I mean, we did. Granted, we didn't look good at all in the first game. It wasn't much harder to look better. But, I mean, Dylan Johnson had that big run all the way to the 1-yard line, and then he ran in for a touchdown. Like, holy shit, we actually scored a touchdown for the first time since Christmas Eve of last year.
Yeah.
I mean, that actually felt good, and I know these guys aren't the starters, and, you know, I know, like I'm saying, we look good, and yes, it's only preseason. We all say that when we suck. Oh, it's only preseason, blah, blah, blah. Like, it doesn't matter. Well, I guess you got to say that when we look good, but, I mean, we did look good. You know, I mean, it was a good preseason game. It wasn't, you put this in regular season, it's a shit game, but it's a pretty good game for the preseason. But anyway, I wanted to tell y'all something about Brad Tillis, because y'all didn't get my thing I put in the chat. Yeah, I mean, keep bringing it on with his big head, because we like big brains and we cannot lie. Wow.
Wow. Like big brains, but cannot lie, man. Listen, we're talking about that dead money. I'm hoping that over the next couple of years that Tillis will be able to figure out how to get us out of that hell, man. We have so little talent for the amount of money that we're paying.
Been in a downward spiral since Tipper took over.
But it was great hearing from you, Joey. Great
All right,
call.
we got one more call for the night.
What's up, y'all? This is Lucas. I kind of want to see Bryce play at least a quarter or at least a drive Saturday against the Bills.
Oh, well, I wanted to see you against the Jets.
Because after last season, after all the shit we watched last season, I just want to see some improvement. And that because last season, man, we watched so much shit that.
But I think Cody might be all right on this. Is you're not going to see that improvement in the preseason.
No.
And them just sitting our starters on the sideline, they're just teasing us, man.
Well,
that's
wait
all I
until
got
you
to
get
say.
that tease
I
and it's
really,
a
really
premature
hope we
when
get to
in
see
the
some good
season.
football this year, boys. Keep pounding, go Panthers.
Thank you, Lucas,
Keep
for the call.
pounding. Thank you, Luke.
All right. Those are the calls. What else we got, Cody?
That's the last slide, man.
Heck yeah, we are on time, bro. We've been doing it right, man. But don't worry, is this gonna get crazy, folks? When this season comes around, there'll be 40 calls.
Yeah, it's
all the post games. Oh man.
Somebody put in the chat, has anybody seen something about Miles Sanders potentially being traded to the Cowboys? I have not seen that. And I'm trying to just think of are there any last NFL news, or not last, but is there any news to even mention?
Oh no, we do have one more. My mistake. We do have one more.
Oh, thank God. Yeah, don't forget my man.
Yeah, man. We have to talk about this. What the hell, man?
All right.
So I'll try and find it. I don't know the rules. I don't know if Cam's
Probably
channel.
won't. But here, you want me to tell you exactly what happened?
Yeah, man.
I can just repeat it on his podcast because I just repeat. And it's like when Cam Newton whispers in the world, I hear it. Ultimate. So it sounds like this when you see this. And by the way, Skylar Callahan, friend of the show, believe in Panthers podcast. So, but you see this headline: Cam Newton feels betrayed by former Carolina Panthers head coach Ron Rivera. You know what it goes back to is this: is Ron Rivera and Cam Newton got the axe ultimately together, right? Ron Rivera gets fired. They hire Matt Rule. Then they come in and they cut Cam. And Ron Rivera, this is a year after Cam's coming off the foot, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's off the Liz Frank. He's supposedly healthy foot-wise by this point. And Ron goes and takes the job with the Commanders, and they don't have a quarterback. They don't have a quarterback. And Cam's waiting for a call from any team in the league. Remember, nobody called Cam. They waited till the last second. The Patriots finally got him. He thought that he was going to get that call from Ron Rivera, Marty Herney, and those guys. Or Ron Rivera. He did reference this. He said, look, we started out 4-0 and whatever, 1-4 or something.
1-3,
1-3, and then finished the 2013 season. One of my favorite Panther teams of all time, that 2013 team. Ron Rivera gets coach of the year. They then go to the Super Bowl. Cam's MVP. And guess who the Commanders traded for in that offseason? They didn't go get Cam Newton. Ron Rivera went to Washington and got Kyle Allen. Or no, it was Heineke.
Heineke, yeah.
Maybe it was both, actually. He might have brought both of them. But they traded for Kyle Allen and then got Heineke and signed Chris Winkie. And so, you know what? I'm with Cam on this. I'm always defending Cam. It's like Ron should have gone and done that.
You know how everybody is like, oh, the teams don't want Colin Kaepernick in the NFL, and there's like a concerted effort to not sign him. I'm not even trying to talk about Kaepernick. I feel like that's also true with Cam to a point.
It's too big.
Like I feel like the last couple of years of him playing football really damaged his football brand in an irreversible way. Now, it really had nothing to do with him. The man was hurt. He tried to play. And then when he did come back, he was on teams that were just terrible. That Patriots team and the Panthers team.
And he might have been toast. I mean, we see that shoulder was given. You know, it's really hard for me as someone who just wants to believe Cam, would just believe him at any moment. I don't know if the shoulder was cooked entirely, but you remember the COVID crap that happened? He got COVID. Then they wouldn't let him play. You know, they wouldn't let him be around. Remember when let's not forget how wonky COVID was because he wouldn't get the shot. Right? He was one of the non-vaxxers or something like that, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I just feel like this. He goes out and throws for 400 yards in the first game with the Patriots and 5 touchdowns. And it's just like, man, is your shoulder really cooked? Mm-hmm. Now, is it cooked 10 games into the season? Maybe. I don't know. But I get it. I mean, if there's somebody that you're looking for the call from, it's Ron.
Yeah.
With nobody, you're going with Kyle Allen, Tyler, Heineke.
And the point that he made is like they've been through so much together.
Yeah.
He brought up that 2013 season when they started.
They were fired. We all wanted Ron Rivera fired in 2012 and 2013 at that point.
They turned it around, and man, there's so much I wish I could know about the final few years here in Carolina and just what the things that happened, the things that were said. I don't know. We'll never know truly the whole story about everything.
Is Cam's shoulder really that cooked is what we really wanted to know.
I think Cam's having too much fun cooking people in college football online right now.
Oh,
yeah. But yeah, he doesn't.
He really wasn't out of line on this, though. That's what I want to say is if you read the headline, you feel like he's got salty, like he's got sour grapes. And I don't feel like when you read what Cam actually said, it's sour grapes is necessarily is like, look, I'm going through this. I thought this was a team that was going to pick up the phone.
Yeah.
I can get that feeling. He's not wrong.
We love you. I love you, Cam.
This is a podcast for and by Cam sexuals. We love
And
Cam.
there's nobody gayer for Cam than this guy.
We will always love Cam.
I do. Yeah.
Dude, Cam.
Missed you.
He's literally our number one. We love you.
All right. So I was at my sister's house today, and little Ava Marie. She's a little baby. She's not even 2 yet. She's up there, or maybe she's 2. And she's like, "What's that?" And she's like, just saying word. They're just saying words and stuff. And she's like, "Is that a monster?" I was like, "No, it's Cam Newton." And I'm talking to her, and she's like, she's trying to repeat it. I was like, "All right, you go, Cam Newton, Cam Newton." I'm still doing that mess. All right. You're listening to the C3 Panthers podcast, brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com, where every Tuesday night we chop up the latest Panthers news and opinions from the fan perspective. We would be remiss. You can't end the longest running Panthers podcast without the longest running segment where we pay homage to another love of our life, Steve Smith, where we tell anyone out there, football, non-football, family, non-family, real, unreal, to ice up, to get it together, toughen up. Cody, let's ice some fools up.
Ice up, son. Ice up.
It's time to ice some fools up. For y'all that don't know about this, and there's only like 1 or 2 people that don't know about this, this is where we step out, where we just tell some fools to get it together. Who wants to go first?
I've got 3. I can
You got 3?
I've got 3. I'll go in any order you'd like me to.
All right, I'm just going this. I want to just go. I'm going quick, simple, and easy. I'm icing up mosquitoes right now.
Oh shit, they're crazy right now.
With the fucking water and all of this, dude, my ankles are just eaten to death. Not only have I just been outside a little bit, like even before the show, I had an hour to kill before I come to the studio. And I was like, I'm going to do a quick workout. I went to a park, walked around a track, just annihilated, dude. Just fucking eaten alive. So I'm icing up mosquitoes and mosquito bites.
Legit.
Very simple. That's like the most calm ice up pick I've ever done.
I'll go real quick because mine's kind of a 2-in-1. I'm icing up 2 different people and the same kind of thing. So, you know what? I don't even got to bring anything up. I can just talk about it. Illinois school worker sentenced to 9 years in prison for stealing $1.5 million for the chicken wings over 9 years.
Not. Did you see? Okay, keep going.
What happened?
Yeah, so a school worker, one of the cafeteria ladies, has
been embezzling chicken wings.
$1.5 million worth over the last 9 years.
Yeah, 9 years. Which, by the way, is that's like 12 wings a week.
Well, yeah, I get
at this price of chicken wings these days. Good God. Okay,
but I'm icing this up because people get mad because they're like, it's just chicken wings, but they're missing the point of it's not just chicken wings. It's
who sells chicken wings at a school, by the way.
That's the thing. They don't sell chicken wings at this school. That's what's not sell. They don't even serve chicken wings. You can't serve chicken wings in a school because
she was just ordering them.
She's just ordering them, and stealing them. And it's not about it being chicken wings. It's about stealing $1.5 million from an education system. Don't complain about schools not having money and then have people stealing money like this through the education system. I'm sorry, it just doesn't work like that.
Did you see Chris Jones from the...
That's the other ice that I have is Chris Jones saying he's going to pay for those stolen chicken wings to get her out of jail. And it's like, why? Why are you gonna, how is she any different than any other criminal? Why? Because it's chicken wings?
Because it's funny. Because it's funny. But guess what? Paying for it won't get her out of jail.
Exactly.
They should be like, sure, pay for it. We'll let her out of jail.
If she never got caught, you'd be like, yo, she's a genius. She got chicken wings for life, dog.
I mean, if you got away for it for 9 years, I would think.
I hope she had like a chicken wing truck too. Like she was like on the
or she ate a lot of chicken wings.
She was just like her church. Her church had chicken wings every week.
She was bringing to the church functions every Sunday.
But yeah, to that I say ice up. Don't steal from this school, man.
Boneless wings are not wings, by the way. Ice up to that.
Cody, since you have 3, I'll go next just in case one of mine is one of yours.
Well, you want to go? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, just in case mine is one of yours. That way I'm not leaving sitting here with nothing. So there's I don't know if you guys have ever been woken up abruptly, but there's a moment in time when it's just like you don't know if you're in a dream or if you're actually awake. And in that moment, there can be things that can be done to make you feel like whatever is happening is 100% real, and the worst thing you could think of possibly could have just taken place. So with that, here's a minute of some things that women have been doing to men lately with this trend that they have. Give me a second. Let me get it pulled up here. Here we go.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
This
Oh
is
yeah.
hilarious.
Oh yeah. I think this is fake.
I don't think so. You see these reactions?
Yeah, I think did I send this to you on the chat before? Like,
Maybe.
this is hilarious. Yeah.
You might have.
Wait, what am I looking at?
Look, he was already taking his hat off.
They're putting hot dogs in the fly of their boyfriend.
They're Lorraine Bobbitt into him. What is it? Remember?
They're waking it up and cutting it in half.
This is fake.
You got to hear the audio.
All
The
this is
audio
fake.
really makes this so funny.
I'm avoiding the audio because I'm not sure if there's any like music or anything like that. Some of it is fake for sure. Like that one's fake. Like, but it's just there are ones that you could tell are real. Like that dude, that's real.
I don't believe any of this.
You don't think that one's fake?
Look, he's already lifting his hat off.
I just couldn't stop laughing when I first saw it. It is pretty
You
hilarious.
just say in your mind. I still don't believe any of this, but okay. Don't Lorena Bobbitt Don't Lorena Bobbitt any D.
No,
it's not a good move.
Anyway, I'm just icing up those
Yeah,
guys.
if he says no normal man opens the zipper and sticks it out like that.
Well, it's not a matter of the man doing that. It's the matter of what the man's going to believe if he's woken up from a slumber in that moment.
Mom, here, public service announcement to my mother. Cody says, you got to kick it for these dang ice up picks.
Yeah,
See you later,
sorry.
Mom.
These are not mama approved. The first one might be. But it's just don't ever let your intrusive thought wins. Your intrusive thoughts win.
Mom, we're going to ban you if you don't get out of here.
That's what this dude ends up doing. He let all the thoughts just run his body.
All right. I got no problem with that one. It really went worse than it should because she fell down and like smashed her head. But that is, I hit that back knee to people all the time.
Yeah, dude, that's so fucked up.
You're not supposed to fall.
What did you say to the woman right after you push her foot in?
You got to know her. Like, there's no way that was a stranger.
It's just a knee. You'd be like, yo, don't lock the knee up, is what I would say.
Yeah.
Don't lock the knee up. Practice your balance.
Lucky it was me and not a robber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so you ever see those videos where like these martial art masters that claim to be masters of energy and the force, like they'll do these
like
things,
Jedis or some shit?
Yeah, and they'll take on a real martial artist. Yeah, maybe maybe a force field energy master versus an MMA fighter, dude.
Oh, he took that punch like a mug, though.
Look at him waving his fingers. Oh,
watch this. Look at this. Oh no, this is a different part. So he went back and tried to re-force field him?
Yeah, he tried to
look at the first one, dude. Look at the first punch. He takes. Oh, dude, that guy can take a punch, bro. His force field is his jaw. Hey, mute it before this music gets us. All right, what we got last?
Yeah. All right, so the last one, bro. These these VR headsets, dude.
All right.
Listen, you really need to make sure that no one is around if you're using these VR
What,
headsets.
watching porn?
Oh, dude.
Damn, man.
I got one. Actually, I got one more. Mom, I got one more real quick that reminds me of
Bro,
that
look
guy.
at bro, he's so
Teeth. Did you see that man's teeth?
Bro, he had no idea. Oh.
Damn, man.
Hold on. Let me see. My boy
so
sent me.
the homeboy.
You guys may want to do one more too.
Make sure
All right.
you're alone
I
in the
got one
room.
more. I got one more for you. Hold on. Let me pause this. This is. Let me see. Make sure the volume. How do I get you?
And Real AP wanted me to show a skit that he sent.
I gotta go, and then I'm like, well, let's watch these dumb videos on the internet together. Let's see. Can we hear this? Oh, wait, here it is.
I got 20.
Come on.
How much time I get for $20?
What's it? Well, how long do you need me to bust that?
I want 2 hours for 20.
Bet.
How much?
Bet. I said bet.
How much time I get for $20?
What's it? Well, how long do you need me to bust that?
I want 2 hours for 20.
Bet. This bug said, "Shit, I do it for 5." All right, that's there's no ice up there. It's just that's just funny.
All right, this is from the Real AP.
Oh, hold on, I gotta take mine down.
Okay. Tommy, I think you're gonna find this.
Oh, please be.
Oh, Rosa Parks. Hey, did you know they're going to build a statue of her and put it in the U.S. Capitol building?
Oh, that's great. She deserves it.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, did I ever tell you my grandfather worked with her to start the civil rights movement?
Really?
Yeah, he was the guy who was like, "Get up, move it, lady."
That's horrible.
Oh, man.
Never would have happened without him.
Fuck you.
Who's that on your
ice up there, the dumbass skit.
All right, some good funny ha-has at the end of the show, man.
Okay. All right. You're listening. That's it. That's the C3 Panthers podcast brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com. We'll be here on Friday for the free-for-all. We've got one final preseason game, which is on Saturday, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Then we'll be back on Tuesday. 1 week off. I mean, Friday free-for-all keep going, but football will be here, and we'll be here with a post-game show. Which will be kicking. So look, thank you all for tuning in. Smash the thumbs up button, subscribe, do all those things. We are cooking now. It took us forever to get those last 10 subscribers to get to 6,000, and we popped off 22 in a day. Y'all help us get out there. And you know how you can help? Just share it to your fucking page. Retweet it. Let somebody know. Thank you for all the super chats tonight. Cody, great hanging out with you. Greg, better hanging out with you. CK, always an optimist. Me, I'm just a lover of Cam Newton. Take us out of here.
C3 Legion. Until next time, keep pounding.